Striker Scorpion 82 is now sponsored by Warhammer Combat Cards, a card battle game featuring your favourite Citadel miniatures from the 40k universe. Free to download and play, link is in the video description below or on the channel homepage, and by using the unique link it helps support the channel. Thanks and enjoy the game. Right, welcome to this review for the new Asuryani Codex. So this is a big book, this one here. I hope to split it into a couple of videos because you've got Harlequins in with this one as well. So really you're going to get a couple of reviews out of the same book. But I think it makes sense just to separate the two out so that people can look at the Harlequins and then check out the Eldar as well. Ynnari are in here also. I don't plan really to do a review on them separately. I don't play Ynnari on the channel, but their rules are also inside this book as well. So it'll be a full review. We'll go through all the pages, talk about tactics. Obviously I have Harlequins, I have Eldar, so I'm going to be looking at this from a perspective of I have an army that's ready to go, number of units available, you know, what units are strong, what combinations, craft world choices, tactics and so on. So it'll be quite a Tactica type review as well. So that's for both, that's for Harlequins and also for regular Eldar also. So a big thank you to Games Workshop. They sent me a copy ahead of time through the post, which is very kind of them. For discount 40k, you can check out the channel sponsors here at Goblin Gaming. A link for them in the video description below. For 40k stuff, it's roughly about 20% off the standard price from Games Workshop. So including this book here, you can get a hold of it from them. Loaded along with all the other Games Workshop stuff, other gaming systems, hobby accessories, paints, sprays and so on. Then check out Goblin Gaming. If you use the link directly below, then it does help out the channel in a small way and it's much appreciated. Because it may well be at the end of this review you're starting to get an idea of what units to add in. I found that a good theme to go for if you've been into 40k for a while is to take on the Codex. Gives you a chance just to hit things fresh, so get a hold of the Codex, immerse yourself in the rules, start working on a force, then take your current army, work on it a bit and then sort of add in one or two new units. I think it's a good fun way of going through things. Instead of just completely overhauling your army or chucking out your other stuff and starting fresh, you can just sort of revamp your army, and usually a couple of units is enough to really freshen things up. So I think that's what I'll be doing. And then there's choices now for the Eldar, what units to use, or the older units to go back to using those older sculpts I'm talking about, or really try and embrace the new stuff that's being released from Games Workshop. So it is exciting times for the Eldar. This is a big book, it's 200 pages. It's huge. I do plan to cover some of the points values as well in this video. So introduction, this must be the second biggest book after Space Marines. But I guess you've got just the new artwork there. You've got two codexes in one. You can leave your own comments on that. I guess it makes sense. It was nice to have the Harlequins Codex separate, but then again, saves Harlequin and Eldar players having to get two books, so it works out well in that regard. It's the craft world's beautiful artwork here. There's something about the Eldar. So I guess they're the main faction on the channel. They've been, without the new codex for a few years, they've been neglected to some degree. They haven't been able to thrive as much as some of the other factions on the channel, such as the Space Marines and the Necrons, the Thousand Sons and so on, with their new codex. So it's been a long time coming, and obviously the desperate need for resculpts as well. Not that the old figures are bad, it's just it just did need a refresh. So as to the extent of beautiful artwork, look at this, Star Avengers fighting away here against Genestealer Cults. That'd be some game. Beautiful, amazing concepts of the Eldar. The dazzling array of colours, colour schemes and so on that you can go for with, and the brightness of them. They're very attractive army for sure. And when I was painting up my Eldar army, you used to treat yourself. You could go for a unit of 10 Dire Avengers and then completely switch out to something else, completely different colour scheme, like Howling Banshees or Striking Scorpions, Fire Dragons, just totally opposite colour schemes. So if you want sort of a rainbow coloured army of all sorts of different colour schemes, then Eldar would be about the best for that. Or you can go themed, you can run a pure army of Yenden and just go for that strong colour scheme, just run it throughout the army. So there's so many options available for the Eldar. It's the same one. So the colour scheme that you'll see with my standard Eldar is sort of a turquoisey colour. It's loosely based on your Brasil. This one just here. Sort of an offshoot of those. The Avatar of Cain, obviously, was a fantastic new model from Games Workshop in plastic. Good move from them. Then different aspect warriors. Love all the concepts of these, the style of which they play, the colour schemes, fantastic. Always love the Dire Avenger colour scheme. Love the concept of warp spiders. Used to use them a lot in a number of editions, sort of 7th edition. Used to use them all the time, but then fell out of favour with those. It's a chance perhaps to bring them back. Shining Spears, the amazing sculpts from Games Workshop for them. Excellent move. Howling Banshees already resculpted and ready to go. Striking Scorpions, looking forward to the day they get redone. Dark Reapers have been redone. Fire Dragons, fantastic colour scheme with those. Swooping Hawks, I would imagine in plastic they'll look incredible. Just with the wings and so on, just possibly one of the best resculpts. If and when Games Workshop do it, should be. Then you've got the Flyers here, Crimson Hunters. You've got the Hosts of the Dead, so the Wraith constructs. And then onto Harlequins. We'll cover this artwork in this one for the Harlequins. So then Yunari, just here. Then yeah, Corsairs as well. Fleets of infantry. And then your colour schemes to go for here. They've resculpted the Guardians, so you can go for regular Guardians. You've got the Storm Guardians with the sword and pistols. Avatar's a good size now. Yeah. There's different concepts you can go for. Yeah, you've got the resculpt for Morgan Rad, hoping obviously they're going to resculpt in the others as well. The other Phoenix Lords. There's James Zar, which I have painted up. Fantastic model, beautifully done by Games Workshop, and obviously the accompanying Howling Banshees as well. So what they've done is they've gone for the combo here. So Dark Reapers with their Phoenix Lord, Harlequins with their Howling Banshees with their Phoenix Lord James Zara as well. So they're doing it in the combo, which is great. A little bit, I'm not saying worried. I guess there's plenty of time, but as to this frequency of updating the rest of the aspect warriors, one wonders. We'll see. There's a spread there. It's a mix of old and new across here. Mostly old still, these units. There, they've redone all the ranges and so on. The new Shroud Runners, which I'll cover the rules for in this video. The vehicles remaining the same, the Wraith units, the Bikers, which were a relatively new sculpt as well. But it may take some years to get the refresh on the plastics across the range for the Eldar. And to be fair, one of the neglected factions in that regard, there's other factions that are way ahead as far as resculpts are concerned. But they'll get there, Shades of Death, so plenty of colour schemes for you to refer to. And then we're on to the rules. So, Asuryani Detection abilities. We'll cover this a little bit here. It's sort of saying that you can take Harlequins to accompany a Drakari or Asuryani force. You can have a little detachment of them. Asuryani Detection is one that only includes models with the Asuryani keyword. They gain Asuryani Detachments gain leaders of the war host ability. You can include a maximum of one Autarch model in each Asuryani detachment in your army, so just a little bit of limitation, but not that much really. You can still take multiple Autarchs if you're on a couple of detachments in your force. You get Craftworld attributes, which we'll cover in just a moment, and you get objectives secured for troops units as well, so like Guardian Defenders for example. And if your army is battle forged, one Harlequin's patrol detachment in your army can have this ability. A detachment with this ability is ignored from mission pack rules that require every unit in your army to have at least one faction keyword in common. Okay, for example, Eternal War mission pack. This means you can, for example, include one Harlequin's patrol detachment as part of an Asuryani or Drukhari army. So, yeah, and it doesn't mess up other rules. So for Drukhari, it won't mess up getting power from pain ability, so on and so on. So you can, they're just making way for you to introduce some Harlequins. So that may well prove quite useful for people, as you know, Eldar players are saying, well, I don't want to get a whole Harlequins army, but I do like the Harlequins, where they could just dabble a little bit in a small patrol. So it's a great stepping stone getting into Harlequins, which again is a fantastic range, all in plastic. So the Eldar do need to catch up. And it should be quite straight. It's really the elites that need the updating now. The vehicle range is fine. Wraith constructs are all pretty much fine. So it's just your some of your key characters need updating, and really the aspect warriors as well, which some of the stronger and more popular units for the Eldar. So on to craft worlds next. So previously I've been running Ulfway for the I think it was previously a 6+ Feel No Pain, but I'm open to suggestions. I'm also running Ulfway because of using Eldrad. Which I really love the model, but very open for suggestions and trying out different options here. So as usual, it's basically saying you get your craft world attributes. You go for one of the fixed themed ones here, or you can create your own a bit later on. You got warlord traits, stratagems, and relics that are specific for craft worlds as well. So Ulfway, do we stick with these? It means I can run Eldrad, but attribute, Foresight of the Damned. Each time a unit of this attribute is selected to shoot or fight, you can reroll one wound roll when resolving that unit's attacks. So that's not bad at all. Very helpful for heavy weapons and vehicles and so on. Each time you take a psychic test for a cycle of this unit, if the first psychic test taken for that unit this turn, add 1 to results, +1 on the first roll, so not bad. You get a 6+ invulnerable save on top of that as well. And each time model this attribute would lose a wound as a result of mortal wound. It's a 5+ Feel No Pain. So there's a host of bonuses there. Yeah, so the downside is the complexity of it. There's 4 times as much stuff than there was in the previous book, I believe. I think originally it was just like a 6+ Feel No Pain. But now it's this, and this. You've got extra things to remember. So the rules are good, but it's just adding more and more stuff to remember. And as one person in the comment section, I can't remember what video it was, but they said that 40k has become or is becoming the game of rules that you forget. Where it's just the rules are fine, but there's just so many of them you just end up forgetting loads during the game, which is annoying. So there's 4 things to remember there, but it's all looking quite strong enough. You can then go for your unique warlord trait. Here you have, after you make a Strands of Fate roll, which will cover Strands of Fate soon, if this warlord is on the battlefield, you can choose to retain 1 additional dice. The Ghost Helm of Alishazia, it's always Psyker only. The bearer knows 1 additional psychic power from the runes of Fortune Discipline, and each time a psychic test is taken, the bearer on an unmodified roll of 9+. You cannot deny that psychic power, which is pretty good. And then Discipline of the Black Guardians is a stratagem. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase or fight phase. You can select an Orphe Guardians unit to fight or shoot. And it's reroll 1s. No, it's not. It's +1 to the hit roll. So yeah, pretty good. Very useful actually. Very, very useful. You can do massed shuriken and firepower, but hitting on 2s. Yeah. So that is strong. So Ulfway looks solid enough. It does look solid. Okay, and then you can conform your army to, or pick your craft world to fit your stratagem, the style of your army and build. So there's great flexibility here. So Laytok next. I used to run these a little bit, sort of ones that are a bit harder to hit. So field craft then. 3 abilities here. Each time a ranged attack is made against this unit of this attribute, if the attack is more than 12 inches away, the unit gets light cover. And then each time a ranged attack is made against an infantry or biker unit of this ability that is entirely on or within a terrain feature, if the attacker is more than 12 inches away, then the unit with this attribute is treated as having the benefits of dense cover against that attack. So -1 to the hit rolls is still sort of there. And you can ignore any or all modifiers to the move characteristic of each units of this attribute, and you can ignore any or all modifiers to advanced rolls made for such units. So yeah, pretty good. Then you've got the Warlord trait, Master of Ambush. In your command phase, you can select one a Latok infantry core unit within 9 inches of the Warlord. Until the end of the turn, if that unit is performing an action, it can still make attacks with ranged weapons without the action failing, so useful enough. And then at the start of the first battle round, before the first turn begins, if the Warlord is on the battlefield, you can select one other friendly Latok Rangers unit on the battlefield, remove that unit from the battlefield and set it up just as a deep strike. But a deep strike that's done before the turn actually begins. Relic, Shift Shroud of Alansire. A Latok infantry model only. While the bearer is receiving the benefits of cover, it cannot be selected as a target of a ranged attack unless it's the closest eligible target for that attack, and then what attacking model is within 12 inches. And then Pathfinder Ambush. 1 CP. Use your stratagem in the reinforcement step of your opponent's movement phase. After an enemy unit that has set up on the battlefield, select one Latok Rangers unit from your army that is either on the battlefield or in reserves. If that Rangers unit is in strategic reserve, set it up anywhere on the battlefield within 18 inches of the enemy unit, and more than 9 inches away from any models. So it's like an ambush, you just turn up. And at the end of that phase, that Rangers unit can shoot as if it were the shooting phase, but until the end of that phase, it can only target the enemy unit that was just set up on the battlefield. So yeah, you can follow a unit in and shoot at them when you land. Pathfinder Ambush. Yeah, good stratagem, that one. I'm sure that could be put to good use. Latok Rangers. Next, Biel-Tan. So Sword Wind is the attribute. Each time a unit this attribute advances or makes a battle focus move, treat all rolls of 1 and 2 as 3s. And each time a unit this attribute is selected to shoot or fight, you can reroll 1 hit roll, resolving that unit's attacks. So, pretty good. Warlord trait is Natural Leader. In your command phase, you can select one friendly Biel-Tan core unit within 6 inches of the Warlord. Until the end of the turn, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, you can reroll the hit roll. Yep. Just says until the end of the turn. So you're rerolling the hit roll. So I think that's going to be similar to the blessing you get for Necron. So rerolling. It sort of lasts through the whole turn, so you'll be getting that benefit to for shooting and for close combat. Rerolling your hits. Natural Leader. That one is very, very good. And then the Spirit Stone of Anathlan. Biel-Tan Psyker. The bearer knows one additional psychic power from their chosen discipline. And then you can reroll a psychic test once per psychic phase as well. And then Wrath of the Shrines. 1 CP. Use your stratagem in your shooting phase or the fight phase when a Biel-Tan aspect warrior unit from your army is selected to shoot or fight until the end of that phase. Each time model that unit makes an attack and a modified hit roll of 6 pops an extra hit. Isn't too bad at all. Yeah, looking solid enough for them. Biel-Tan. Okay, and then next. So, Stoic Endurance for the attribute. Each time a combat attrition test is taken with this unit, add 1 to the combat attrition test. And each time an attack is allocated to a model of this attribute, if that attack has an arm penetration characteristic of -1 or -2, worse than the arm penetration characteristic of that attack by 1. So if -2 becomes -1, and even -1 becomes 0. So yeah, helpful. Helpful with armor saves and morale. Enduring Resolve for the Warlord trait. Each time this Warlord will lose a wound. It's a 5+ feel no pain, which is pretty good. Citronome of Lianden Relic. In your command phase, you can select one friendly Lianden Spirit Host unit within 9 inches of the bearer. Then it lasts all the way through to the start of the next command phase. You get +1 attack, and if it's Wraith Guard, it gains battle focus. Just get an extra attack. Isn't bad. Not bad at all. And then Guided Wraith Sight. 1 CP. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase or the fight phase. Select one Lianden Spirit Seer model from your army and one friendly Lianden Spirit Host unit to the end of that phase. The Spirit Host unit is considered to be in range of that Spirit Seer model's Spirit Mark ability. Next, same pun. Wild Host. So you can reroll charge rolls, nice and straightforward, and units of this attribute eligible to declare a charge in a turn in which they fell back were very, very useful. Very, very useful indeed. Yeah. Very cool. So imagine things like Shining Spears, would love those abilities. Then for the Warlord trait, Wild Rider Chieftain, +1 to the Warlord's attacks characteristic. He can perform a heroic intervention within 6 inches and 5 inches vertically instead of 3 and 5. And each time this Warlord makes a heroic intervention move, it can move up to 6 inches instead of 3. And the Talisman of Tion Char, model, Samhain model only. Each time the bearer makes a melee attack, if the bearer made a charge move or heroically intervened this turn, add 1 to the strength and damage characteristic of that attack, and improve the AP of that attack by 1 as well. And that's an excellent relic. Really good. And then Warriors of the Raging Winds. Use a stratagem at the start of the charge phase. Select on the same KOYO unit from your army until the end of the phase. That unit is eligible to declare a charge even if it advanced this turn, and that is very useful as well. It's tactical stuff going on here. Very, very helpful. So all of these are looking pretty good so far. They're all pretty good. I don't say any of these are bad. Same hand looking pretty good. Yeah, it's going to help. Yeah, aggressive Eldar is the way to go. Yeah. So in 9th edition, you've got to move out fast, grab, hold, hit enemy units, delete enemy units. It's sort of quite a brutal game it's become. I guess it always has been, but with 9th edition things happen fast. There's a need to grab stuff quick, hold ground quickly, and so on. So Samhain, for example, a good option to go for. So far-flung craft worlds here. So if you're not keen on any of those ones, you've got your own customized craft world and so on, then you can pick from here. So the first one, in the footsteps of the ancients. So you cannot select this far-flung craft world attribute if you've selected any of the others. So this is the one where you just get the one. You can't take a second. And if you select this far-flung craft world attribute, you cannot select a second. So you select from one of the following: Ulfway, Latok, and so on. It just means, for example, say for example you've got an army painted up, you want to use it as your own den, but it's not in that colour scheme. You could just do it as a far-flung craft world. You pick in the footsteps of the ancients, and then you go back and then use the attributes discussed already for that particular craft world. So move on from that one. So here we go. Some of these are actually quite tasty here, and you're looking for 2 to work in combination. It may get to a point where a combination from here, in your opinion, may be stronger than one of the fixed craft worlds. So Children of Cain. Each time model this attribute makes a melee attack, and his 6s is +1 damage, and 6s to wound. Now that is already off to a really good start. Really good. I'm just thinking, for example, unit of strikers, Scorpions, tons of attacks, popping 6s to wound. It's 2 damage coming through. Excellent. Children of Morai Heg. Each time model this unit with this attribute makes an attack, if that models units below half strength, then it's +1 to the hit roll for the attack, which is alright, but it's quite conditional. Children of Prophecy. Each time a psychic test or another witch test is taken for a psychic model with this attribute, you can reroll any or all the dice results of 1 and 2. Children of the Open Skies. Add 1 to the move characteristic models of this attribute. If a model of this unit can fly, add 2 to its move characteristic instead of 1. And each time the unit advances, it's guaranteed 3 at least. So 1s and 2s become 3s. Diviners of Fate. Each time you make a Strands of Fate roll, if every unit in your army has this attribute, excluding agents of the Aeldari and Thraith and unaligned units, you can roll 1 additional d6. Elite Citizenry. Add 1 to the leadership characteristic models of this attribute, and each time a unit of this attribute is selected to fight, you can reroll 1 hit roll and resolve the unit's attack, so it's not that great. Expert Crafters. Each time a unit of this attribute is selected to shoot or fight, you can reroll 1 wound roll, resolving that unit's attacks. Shoot or fight. Yeah. Useful enough. Yeah, useful enough. Grim. Each time a combat attrition test is taken for the unit, add 1 to the test. Hail of Doom. Each time a model this attribute makes an attack with a shuriken weapon, a modified hit roll of a 6 auto wounds the target. That's another strong one. Excellent, that one. If you've got a lot of shuriken in your army, you'd soon justify getting that. Auto wounds. Very helpful. Yeah. Headstrong, you reroll advanced rolls and charge rolls made for units of this attribute. Again, very, very useful. Hunters of Ancient Relics. Whilst a unit of this attribute is performing an action, that unit can shoot without that action failing. So not bad. Masterful Shots. Each time model of this attribute makes a ranged attack, the target doesn't receive the benefit like cover. So okay, Masters of Concealment. Each time a ranged attack is made against a unit of this attribute, if the attacker is more than 12 inches away, then the unit this attribute is treated as having the benefits of like cover. Mobile Fighters. Each time a model of this attribute makes an attack, if that model's unit disembarked from a transport model this turn, add 1 to the attack's wound roll. Yeah, that's pretty good. It is very good indeed. Savage Blades. Each time a model of this attribute makes a melee attack, if that model's unit made a charge move, was charged, or performed heroic intervention, improve the arm penetration characteristic of that attack by 1. And then Swift Strikes. In your shooting phase, each time a unit of this attribute is selected to shoot, unless the unit fell back this turn, until the end of the turn, till the end of the phase, it counts as 7 remains stationary. Students of Val. Each time an attack with damage characteristic of 1 is allocated to a vehicle model of this attribute, add 1 to any armor saving throws. So yeah, not bad at all. And then add 3 inches to the range characteristic of shuriken weapons, that's superior shurikens. And then Vengeful. Each time model of this attribute makes an attack with a melee weapon, unmodified roll of 6 is an additional hit. 6 is popping extra hits. So you could go for the combo. I'm thinking. So you can go for like Children of Cain for 6 is popping extra damage on the wound roll. Then you can go for your Vengeful with 6 is popping extra hits in close combat. Nice. I wonder if you can combine that with one of the stratagems we saw earlier on that does the same thing. Well, I think it's Warlord trait actually, but 6 is double popping extra hits. I wonder if that's possible. Warding Runes. Each time, well, models of this attribute have a 6-up invuln save. Each time model of this attribute would lose a wound as a result of a mortal wound, it's a 5+ for no pain on top of that as well. Webway Warriors. When a reinforcement unit with this attribute is set up on the battlefield for the first time to the end of the turn, each time model of that unit makes an attack and unmodified hit roll of a 6, scores an additional hit. And Wrath of the Dead. Wraith construct units, excluding aircraft, with this ability eligible to perform heroic intervention as if they were characters. So yeah, they're all it's mixed in there, but there are some really good ones. Yeah. So I don't know which one to go for. I'm not sure to think about that one. And maybe you can do it in a different order. You can pick your favourite list and then come back to this and see what works and amplifies, what the general structure of what you've already chosen as far as units is concerned. I usually try and collect what I like and try and make it work as much as possible. I choose a unit I like over a unit I think is stronger competitively, for sure. I'm trying to stick to sort of the hobby side of things. So, I've been sort of forming an army of units that I currently like and then trying to make it work, so I'll be backtracking to here to see what works best. But there's so many options to go for now. Craft worlds are looking solid enough, tons of options available here, so plenty of variety available for the Eldar here. So that's Ynnari, we'll go past there. There's Harlequins, we'll come back to them. And then, okay, so yeah. So what we'll do is we'll go through stratagems. I'll skip some if they are specific to Ynnari or Harlequins. So we'll cover that in the next video. So the Great Enemy. So this is for Asuryani, Ynnari or Harlequins. 1 CP. So use the stratagem in the fight phase when a unit from your army is selected to fight until the end of that phase. Each time model that unit makes a melee attack, target Slash, you can reroll hit and wound roll, so particularly vindictive against them. So then matchless agility. So this is use the stratagem in shooting phase when a Asuryani unit from your army makes a battle focused move. So Asuryani is specific to Eldar, basically. Then you've got Ynnari, Harlequins, and then it's Aeldari as the general term that encapsulates all 3 of those, and Corsairs as well, they all come under that title. So this is specific to the Eldar, this one. So you've got in your shooting phase, you make a battle focused move, it's a guaranteed 6 inches, so that may well prove very, very useful at the right point. Lightning fast reactions, so you get this for Asuryani, Harlequins or Ynnari, excluding monsters. And it's a shooting phase or fight phase, it's -1 to the hit roll, it costs you 1 CP. So, Drakari already have that in their codex. Blade Storm, this is Asuryani or Harlequins get this one. When units A unit from your army selected to shoot. At the end of that phase, each time that unit makes an attack for shuriken weapon, 6 pop extra hits. That's 1 CP for that one. Martial citizenry, 1 CP. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase or fight phase for a Guardians unit from your army. Its real hit rolls are 1. Fire and reposition, 1 CP. This is for an Outcasts unit. So, just getting our head round here. This Outcasts unit is units such as the Rangers, I believe. Yeah. And units such as the Shroud Runners, I think, the new bikers, the Outcasts as well. It's when you're making a battle focused move and any of its models wish to move over any part of area terrain, that unit can move the full distance rolled. Do not subtract 3. Okay, and then Avengers of Asuryani, 2 CP. This is for the end of your shooting phase. Select one Dire Avengers unit for army. You can shoot again. Shoot twice Dire Avengers. Well. That is excellent. That is excellent. Very, very good indeed. Exceptionally good. If you start stacking, if you take that strong stratagem and start stacking that up with popping extra hits, auto wounding, extra abilities coming through, +1 to hit rolls or re-rolling ones or whatever, then all of a sudden, vicious amount of firepower can come through from them. And start comboing it with psychic powers and so on. So Eldar back to their old tricks again of the masters of combos. That'd be pretty. You take a humble unit and then just combo the life out of it and get a load of effect from it. That was really good. Shoot twice. Wow. Unparalleled mastery here, 1 CP. This is for in the psychic phase for a Shadow Seer, Farseer, Yvrain or Yinkan model from your army. You can attempt to manifest 1 additional psychic power this phase. So useful enough. The Multifaceted Mind, 1 CP. This is in the psychic phase for attempting to perform an action with a Farseer, Shadow Seer or Yvrain model from your army. You can attempt to manifest 1 psychic power. That unit can attempt to manifest 1 psychic power this phase. You're performing a psychic action and you can still manifest the power basically with that one. So, yes, very useful. The Phoenix Reborn. So 1 CP, use your stratagem when a Phoenix Lord model from your army is destroyed. You can choose to roll 1d6 at the end of the phase instead of using your rolls that are triggered when the model is destroyed. If you do, on a 4+, set the model back up. As close as possible to where they were destroyed and not within engagement range of any enemy units. Models with D3 wounds remaining, your stratagem cannot be used more than once on the same unit. But you can use it multiple times in the game. It looks, once per Phoenix Lord. So some surviving. You'll see it later on with the Phoenix Lords. Games Workshop have done some real bonuses to try and make them more durable. But now they've got a strong stratagem here. 4+, they'll get back up. Because I plan to run Jane Zar. I would love to celebrate using that newer model, and so there's a chance to resurrect her just there. And there's other benefits, as you'll see a bit later on. So then you've got the Avatar Resurgent, 2 CP. It used to be 3, I believe. Use a stratagem in the fight phase. An Avatar of K model from your army has not already been selected to fight this phase is destroyed. Do not remove that model from play. Add 2 to the model's attacks characteristic and it can fight after the attacking model's unit has finished making attacks. After resolving those destroyed model's attacks, it is then removed. It does die, but at least it gets to fight and it gets an extra 2 attacks. Nice. Cool. And yeah, specific to him. Battle Psychers. I'd love to run the new Avatar, get the plastic one and run the Avatar in the army. I've just been a big fan of it, and it's the best it's ever been now apparently. So Battle Psychers, 2 CP for this one. This is for Warlocks. That contain 4 or more models manifest a psychic power from the runes of battle discipline. So selecting one of the power's effects, you can select both of its effects. And then Champion of the Aeldari. So extra warlord trait. Treasures of the Aeldari. Extra relic. Relics of the shrine. This lets exarchs take relics. Seer Council. and you're mustering your army. Select one Farseer model from your army and select one Warlock's unit from your army that contains 2 or more models, while that Farseer model is within 6 inches of that Warlock's unit. Add one to the psychic test taken for the Farseer model, whilst that Farseer is within 3 inches of that Warlock's unit. Enemy models cannot target that Farseer model with ranged attacks. You can only use the stratagem once. Okay, so whoa, I guess it's a combo book, so there's 6 pages of stratagems here. So linked fire, I've heard about this one, we'll see what it is. So linked fire is going to cost you 2 CP for fire prisms. You use it in your shooting phase. You've got to be careful because you've got to use this at the start of your shooting phase. So you've got to make your mind up about this one and remember to use it and not get caught out. You've got to declare it at the start of the shooting phase. So you select one fire prism model from your army and then select 1 or 2 more fire prisms within 12 and visible to that model. At the end of that phase, each time that first fire prism model you selected shoots using the focused lance profile of its prism cannon. So that model makes 2 additional attacks of that weapon using the weapon's focused lance profile for each other fire prism model you selected. Any advanced saves cannot be made against any attacks made by that model with this weapon. So we will look at the fire prism with interest. And really, I have never got a fire prism before. It is a lovely sculpt, a great concept. So you never know. That could be the time to jump in with those. Until the end of the phase, each other fire prism model you selected cannot make any attacks of its prism cannon. So you're linking up for ultimate destruction, but bypassing invuln saves. Ooh. Cool. Okay, next one, feigned retreat. So 1 or 2 CP, use a stratagem in your movement phase. When Asuryani, Harlequins or Ynnari unit from your army falls back, you can select for that unit to be eligible to shoot this turn, or eligible to declare a charge this turn, or both. If you select both, it's 2 CP, otherwise it's 1. Excellent, excellent stratagem. I think it's been kept pretty much from the previous book. Nice. Fall back and shoot, or fall back, shoot and charge for 2 CP. Just real strength of sensing, real strength, real tactical strength with the Eldar. Great flexibility, which will prove them, which will really help them for 9th edition battles. If you can remember all these stratagems and so on, because there's some ones that are massive, game changing, some of these stratagems. Forewarned, 2 CP for this one. Use a stratagem at the end of the reinforcement step of your opponent's movement phase. Select one craftworld unit from within 12 inches of a friendly craftworld Farseer model. That craftworld unit can shoot as if it were your shooting phase, but its models can only target a single eligible enemy unit that was set up as reinforcements this turn. That's within 18 inches of that unit when doing so. But yes, useful enough for sure, sort of interrupting with some firepower as reinforcements arrive. Definitely useful enough. Tears of Isha. Use your stratagem in your command phase. Select one craftworld Wraith construct model from your army. That model regains up to D3 lost wounds if the selected model is within 6 inches of a friendly craftworld Spirit Seer model. The model regains 3 wounds instead. Nice. If you select a Titanic model, it costs 2 CP. Ouch, it's expensive to do it. Otherwise it costs 1 CP. Yeah. I would... Whoa. Yeah. Okay. So they've kept that ability, but it is expensive. Fire and Fade, 2 CP. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase after making attacks of Asuryani Harlequins or Ynnari unit from your army, excluding aircraft. The unit can immediately make a 7-inch move. Unless that unit is a Harlequins unit, it cannot embark within a transport model. At the end of that move, at the end of the turn, the unit is not eligible to declare a charge. Units with the battle focus ability cannot make a battle focus move in a turn in which they're selected for the stratagem. So hang on a second, unless that unit is a Harlequins unit, it cannot embark within a transport model at the end of the move. So I'm guessing Harlequins therefore can shoot and then jump into a transport vehicle. Yeah. How clever. So it could be, yeah, it could be a little hidden gem in there for Harlequins. So some of these stratagems I'm covering for Harlequins, there's not much I can do about it because they're mixed in with Asuryani and so on. Okay, so there'll be less, for the Harlequins video, there'll be less stratagems to cover. Phantasm, 2 CP. Use your stratagem at the start of the first battle round. Before the first turn begins, select up to 3 Asuryani Harlequins or Ynnari units, except Titanic, from your army and redeploy them. If the mission is using strategic reserves, any of those units can be placed in strategic reserve without having to spend any additional CP. I guess you've spent 2 anyway, regardless of how many units are already in strategic reserves. And then if both players have abilities that redeploy units rolled off, then you choose who goes first. You can use the stratagem once. Eldritch Storm, 3 CP for this one. Use your stratagem in your command phase. If a Farseer model from your army is on the battlefield, select one point on the battlefield within 24 inches of a Farseer model from your army and place a marker at that point. Your next psychic phase. Yeah, that's just cool. The next psychic phase. So you've got command phase, then you do movement, then it comes to the psychic phase. There isn't a turn gap in between. This is going to happen quite quick. So you put your marker within 24. Your next psychic phase. Farseer models that are within 24 of that marker can perform the following psychic action. Empower the Storm, warp charge value of 5. Any number of Farseer models in your army can attempt to perform this psychic action, and then the result is, at the start of your next shooting phase, roll 1d6 for each enemy unit within 6 inches of the centre of the marker you place, subtracting 2 if the unit being rolled for is an infantry character unit. On 2+, it's d3 mortal wounds, and an additional mortal wound for each time the Empower Storm psychic action was successfully completed this turn. That marker is then removed. You can only use a stratagem once. So you can really stoke it right up to kick out damage. It's a strange one, that one, but I think it's dangerous enough. Yeah. Especially the way you can stack up the mortal wounds on it. Nice. Webway Strike next. So this is Asuryani Infantry Bikers, Harlequins Infantry Bikers, Ynnari Infantry, Ynnari Bikers, Asuryani Infantry, and so just telling you the cost of it there. But you can put stuff into reserves. Use your stratagem before the battle when declaring reserves and transports. If you plan a mission without this step, use the stratagem during deployment instead. If you spend 1 CP, you can set up to 1 Asuryani Infantry Biker Harlequins into the webway. If it's 3 CP, you can place 2. In the reinforcement step of 1 or more movement phases, you can set up any units in the webway anywhere on the battlefield that's 1 9 inches away from enemy models, and it's 1 use only on that stratagem. Right, wire weave grenades, not heard of those before. 1 CP, use the stratagem at the start of your movement phase, or opponent's movement phase, or charge phase. Select 1 enemy unit, excluding units that can fly, within 12 inches of a Shroud Runners unit from your army. So you're trying to protect these new bikers, and then roll 1d3. Oh dear, it's random. So on a 1 to 2, the enemy unit suffers a number of mortal wounds equal to the result, to a maximum of 1 mortal wound per model in that enemy unit. Until the end of the phase, subtract the result from the enemy's move characteristic. Until the end of the phase, your opponent must subtract the result from charge rolls made for that enemy unit to a minimum of 0 inches. And use the stratagem once per turn. So it's okay. It's a bit random though. It's not very reliable. Shield Discharge, 1 CP, use your stratagem at the start of your charge phase. Select a model from your army equipped with a Serpent Shield or Wave Serpent Shield. Then select an enemy unit within 12 inches of that model. To the end of the turn, the enemy unit cannot fire Overwatch or set to defend. Well, that's very useful. And then each time model in that enemy unit makes a melee attack, subtract 1 for the attack's hit roll as well. God, how interesting. After using this stratagem, the selected model is no longer considered to be equipped with a Serpent Shield. Oh, but you do lose it. Oh, it would have been useful or more appealing if it didn't affect you anyway, but you will lose the shielding ability. Oh, okay. Then you got the grenade pack. Take it. This is for the Swooping Hawks, 1 CP. From the Swooping Hawks unit from your army makes an all move or advances. Select 1 enemy unit that any models in that Swooping Hawks unit moved across this phase. Roll 1d6 for each model in that Swooping Hawks unit. Subtract 1 from the selected enemy unit has the character keyword, excluding vehicles and monster units. For example, 4+. For each 4+, that selected unit suffers a mortal wound to a maximum of 6 mortal wounds. It's capped at 6, which is still very, very tasty. And that grenade pack is excellent. Okay. Yeah, I will wait for the day until they come out in plastic, because I'm pretty sure that when they are done in plastic, they will look incredibly good. Really, really nice. So that's for the Swooping Hawks. The Starhawk Missile, 1 CP. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase when a Asuryani model from your army targets an aircraft unit with an Eldari missile launcher. That model can make one attack with that weapon this phase. It's +1 to the hit roll. If a hit is scored, it's a straight It's a straight 2d3 mortal wounds, and the attack sequence ends. Nice. The Starhawk missile. 2d3 and +1 to the hit rolls. Very nice indeed. The Resonator Shard, 1 CP. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase when a unit from your army that contains any models equipped with a D cannon, Doom Weaver or Shadow Weaver is selected to shoot. Until the end of the phase, each time an attack is made by a model when that unit equipped with a D cannon, Doom Weaver or Shadow Weaver targets an enemy unit within 12 inches of any friendly Resonator Charge units, you can reroll the hit roll. And Fusion Charges. Fusion Charges. Ooh. Well, 1 CP. Use a stratagem in the fight phase. So we're probably looking at a unique stratagem for each of the Aspect Warriors, which is very cool. We've already seen Dire Avengers shooting twice. Excellent. The Grenade Pack for the Swooping Hawks is excellent. And then now we're looking at Fusion Charges here. Fire Dragons. Use a stratagem in any fight phase when a Fire Dragons unit from army is selected to fight. Select one model in that unit. That model can make one attack this phase, only one, and must target an enemy vehicle. But if a hit is scored, the vehicle unit suffers 2d3 mortal wounds. So that's excellent. That's in close combat. That's very cool. So often you'll find a situation, the Fire Dragons have gone after a vehicle, they haven't quite destroyed it. What do you do next? Do you charge it and do what? But now you have got an option, you can place a charge on a vehicle to perhaps finish it off. So that's very, very cool. Yeah, and the planet is a stratagem. Brilliant. This is all very good. So, Prismatic Blur. So that's Harlequins. Cigarette's Justice, Harlequins. 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 I think we are on Harlequins. It is 2 pages of Harlequins, nice and straightforward. So you've got a little bit of overflow on some of these previous stratagems for Harlequins, and you've got 2 pages of dedicated Harlequin stratagems as well. Great. Excellent. Okay. So now we're on to Exarch powers. This is where there is a level of complexity now, just with really it's choice. There's so much choice now with the codexes. So the rules are fine. It's only here and there that you're going to get, like with the Custodes, for example, there was a certain part of the rules that was quite complex. But generally speaking, the rules are straightforward enough. It's just that there's so many rules to try and remember. But then I guess what you're doing is you're from that vastness of the rules, you're picking out certain rules for your army. You don't have to remember the whole lot when you build your force. So you are narrowing it down as you build your list, I guess. So Exarch powers. So if your army's battle forged and includes any Asuryani detachments, excluding auxiliary support and super heavy auxiliary detachments, then when you're mustering your army, you can upgrade Aspect Warrior units from your army that contain an Exarch model by giving them 1 Exarch power chosen from those represented here. To do so, select an Aspect Warrior unit that contains a model that has the word Exarch in their profile, and select one of the appropriate Exarch power upgrades for those listed on pages 106 to 109. That's there. I think it includes here as well. That unit gains the ability listed under the Exarch power. Oh, sorry, yeah, here's 106. Because then it says you can also select 1 Crimson Hunter unit from your army to upgrade to be an Exarch. When you do so, select one of the appropriate Exarch powers listed on the right of that model. Each time you upgrade a unit to have an Exarch power, its power rating is increased by 1. If you're playing a matched play game or a game that uses points limits, then the points value is given here. Fine. Yeah, these points purchasing upgrades tend to have a habit of being expensive. So you may well see this here for the Eldar as well. Make a note on your army roster, blah 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 blah. So if a unit has an Exarch power, its Exarch model will also gain bonuses to its characteristics as follows. So you get an extra wound. If its Crimson Hunter, Dark Reaper, Swooping Hawk, Fire Dragon Exarch, you get an extra +1 ballistic skill. If it's Striking Scorpions, Howling Banshees, Shining Spears or Warp Spiders, you get an extra attack. So therefore I'm expecting to see let's have a little look. So pick a unit of some kind. Die Avengers. No, they have done it. They've given you no, they haven't. Right, okay, so why? No, he's not on, he doesn't get it. I'm just looking to see what they're doing here. They are aspect warriors. Now, I'm just looking to see what the way they're doing this is a little bit complicated. I don't see why they need to put this in. Why not just tell you what the adjusted profile is like they always did? Why do this? Each time you upgrade a unit to have a power, Exarch power, its power rating is increased by 1. If you're playing a match play game, if unit has an Exarch power, its Exarch model will also gain the bonuses to its characteristics. So I take it they've as incorporated that into the. No, they haven't. Why do that? It is a bit silly. So, for example, here, right? I'm gonna pay the points and take a Fire Dragon's Exarch, right? So let's just have a little look. So you have to go here to have a little look at the points cost, and just to get my head around the way they've organised this and whether it's a bit of needless stuff going on here. So let's go, for example. No, right, okay, so Fire Dragons, you're paying for Fire Dragons 23 points each, 5 pike for the Exarchs 10 points, but there's no upgrade here telling you the points cost to make him an Exarch, so you have to go here to get it. So you go to here, Fire Dragons, it'll cost you Blazing Fury, Burning Heat or Dragon's Bite, whatever you choose, that costs that amount of points. Then you have to go back here to find out what bonuses you get, so you get the extra wound. And then for Fire Dragons, you get a +1 ballistic skill. Now, my other question, I'm just sort of talking about the structure of it here. So I then go over to, watch this, I then go over to Fire Dragons, I go to the Exarch, and I look at its ballistic skill, it's 3+. So I need to make a mental note, or write it down, whatever, that actually should be a 2+, correct? From here, look. Fire Dragon Exarch, +1 ballistic skill. But I then go to here, it says +1 to the model's wounds. Ah, brilliant. So I go across here, I need to remember to add a wound. But then it says here, Fire Dragon Exarch is on 2 wounds already. So what do I do? Do I add another wound to that? Or do I presume that's already been incorporated? So, you know, for example, they haven't incorporated the ballistic skill here, but they have incorporated the wound. Or they haven't incorporated the wound, in which case you need to add another wound, in which case it'll be 3 wounds. But I don't think that's the case. I think he is just 2 wounds. So they have incorporated that, but then I've got to presume that they haven't incorporated the ballistic skill, which I do need to adjust that. So that is, I think, needlessly complicated. And it means one of the annoying things in the game of 40k is having to flick through a book. So you go here, oh, how many wounds have I got? What's my ballistic skill? 3+. Oh, I just need to check here, to flick through here and find out, oh yes, but he is on +1, and then it just sort of tying you up in the game, which I think is silly. So they should have just, I think, should have just scrapped all that and then just incorporate everything into there. So you look up the Exarch like the way you used to, and then you find the appropriate data sheet across there. So you cut out all that stuff and just get straight onto those. That's that wasn't the way to do it, I don't think. That's confusing. So they'll have to clarify that. How many wounds does the Exarch get? Is it 2 or is it 3? It's probably 2, but the way that's worded. Yeah. Okay. So let's just have a little look. I'm just running through here, just because I'm sure this will be a point of discussion with some. So I'm going to go to the, let's have a look. Well, just it doesn't matter which one. Here we go, striking scorpions. Yeah, it's the Exarch's weapon skill. No, not him. Let's look for something else. Yeah, so Shining Spears then, they get +1 attack. So what are you going to do in this situation? He's on, it looks like he's already been given +1 attack, so does he get an extra one? And it looks like he's been given his extra wound. I just want to look, what I look at next is the Crimson Hunter, to see if it lists his Crimson Hunter. And it doesn't list the Exarch on here, so you'd know to add your weapon skill or ballistic skill onto that. It's a little bit of confusion. I'm just sort of questioning the structure of it, or whether it could have been done a different way, but we'll move on. So Crimson Hunters then, so you're paying for 30 points for Eyes of Cain, 20 points for Strafing Assault, or 25 points for Swooping Evasion. So Eyes of Cain then, it costs, remember the cost is 30 points for this. Each time this model makes an attack that targets an enemy unit that can fly, it also hits the target. Okay, right, fair enough. Strafing Assault, each time this model makes an attack, a ranged attack, the target does not receive the benefits of cover against that attack. Yeah, blah with that one. And then Swooping Evasion, you get 5+ invulnerable save. So by far, it's Eyes of Cain. Auto hits is fantastic. Next, Die Avengers. You've got Defensive Stance, Shredding Fire, or Stand Firm. So you've already got the ability, you'll see their profile later on, it's already a decent weapon, the Avengers Shuriken Catapult. You've got the ability to shoot twice, you've got buffs with relics, mortal traits, and so on, just to give like reroll ones, popping extra hits, auto wounding, all those kind of things. And then you've got your Exarch abilities here. So Defensive Stance. In your shooting phase, whilst this unit contains a Dire Avenger Exarch model, models in that unit can make attacks with ranged weapons even whilst this unit is within engagement range of enemy units, and can do so even if other friendly units are also within engagement range. If they do so, they can only target enemy units within engagement range. So you can do that. I wouldn't expect it usually to be lasting too long in close combat, so I don't know how effective or worthwhile that would be, and how many models you'd have left to make it worth doing. Shredding Fire, usually after a round of combat's taken place, you're expecting casualties. Dire Avenger's not that tough. Shredding Fire, whilst this unit contains a Dire Avenger Exarch model, each time model this unit makes a ranged attack with a Shuriken weapon, the Shuriken ability takes effect on 5+ instead of 6s. So yeah, okay, so that's decent enough. That's 25 points though. And then Stand Firm, whilst this unit contains a Dire Avenger Exarch model, they get objectives secured. Yeah, and they count as 2 models. Yep. And you get +1 leadership as well. That's for 10 points. That's cheap enough for that one. Okay, next up is Warp Spiders. I guess we haven't seen the profiles of the units yet, but there's 3 here. There's Spider's Lair, Surprise Assault, and Web of Deceit. They're all 15 points a time, so that's quite reasonably priced. Spider's Lair is once per battle at the end of movement phase. If this unit is wholly within an area terrain feature and contains a Warp Spider Exarch model, you can select for that terrain feature to be webbed. If you do so until the start of your next turn, enemy units treat that terrain feature as having difficult ground, and each time an enemy unit ends any type of move, excluding piling or consolidation moves within that terrain feature, roll 1d6 on 2+, the unit takes d3 mortal wounds. Strange one. Very cool. I'll just read the fluff on this. This Exarch and their warriors are experts in rapidly creating a web of monofilament wires, luring the enemy into close confines where they are entangled and sliced apart, even after their slayers have flickered away. Cool. Very good. Surprise Assault. If this unit was set up preparing a sudden assault and contains a Warp Spider Exarch model, when this unit is set up on the battlefield for the first time to the end of the turn, each time model that unit is selected to shoot, it makes 1 additional attack with each death spinner it is equipped with. Nice. Or Web of Deceit. Once per battle, if this unit contains a Warp Spider Exarch model, instead of making a battle-focused move, you can remove this unit from the battlefield and set it up again anywhere on the battlefield that's more than 9 inches away from enemy models. Oof, wow. Wow. Just to relocate. Fantastic. This is all very good here. Very strong options for the Eldar here. Lots of tactical options available. Right, Shining Spears. This is, I've got my eye on this unit because of the resculpts. I have my 9, you know, my sort of Fire Dragon colour schemed ones, but I do very, very much like the new sculpted models. So, you've got Expert Lancers is 20 points, Heart Strikes 15, and Lightning Attacks is 20. All these sound quite good. So Expert Lancers, in the fight phase, each time model of this unit makes an attack. If this unit makes a charge move this turn and contains a Shining Spear Exarch model, it's +1 to the hit roll, so you'd be on 2s to hit. Fine. Fantastic, yeah, worth it, I think, yeah. Each time this unit's Shining Spear's Exarch model makes a melee attack, an unmodified wound roll of 5+ inflicts a mortal wound on the target in addition to any normal damage. So 5's okay. So that's 15 points for that one. 5's to wound. It's alright, yeah, it's not bad. And then Lightning Attacks. Each time this unit makes a consolidation move, if it contains an Exarch, it's a 6-inch move. For 20 points? Oh, no way. No, I just got Expert Lancers on them, +1 to the hit rolls on the charge. Nice and straightforwards. For those, yep. Okay. Seems to be what we're looking at here with Eldar is, because they're a little bit glass hammer in the form that often they're like a 4-up save, toughness 3 of the infantry. So you're sort of trying to build combos where you're high impact on deployment with them. So, you know, your Dire Avengers inside a transport vehicle, you load them all up, all buffs and bonuses, stratagems on standby, you pop them out, they do their damage, and then any turns after that is like a bonus. You're looking for high impact, initial impact with the Eldar. But each unit sort of loaded up to do that, so you might have a unit striking scorpions loaded up ready to go, and then high impact on one turn, then you send in the banshees another turn, high impact of those. It's kind of trying to build that high impact combination is what you're looking for. So this helps with whatever you're trying to do. So Howling Banshees, which I'd love to run 10 of these with the Exarch. We'll see what happens. So you've got Graceful Avoidance, 20 points, Nerve Shredding Shriek, 10 points, or Piercing Strikes at 15 points. So, Graceful Avoidance is, whilst this unit contains a Howling Banshee Exarch, models in that unit have a 4+ invulnerable save against melee attacks. Nice. Nerve Shredding Shriek. Each time this unit finishes a charge move, you can select one enemy unit within engaged range of that unit's Howling Banshee Exarch model and roll 1d6. On a 2+, the enemy unit suffers a mortal wound until the end of the turn. Subtract 1 from combat attrition test taken with that enemy unit. Okay, and then Piercing Strikes. Add 1 to the damage characteristic of melee attacks made by the unit's Howling Banshee Exarch model. Oh, I don't know which one's. Probably the 4+ invuln save in close combat would be good. Okay. Or none at all. I don't know. Not sure on that one. For Howling Banshees. Maybe you like +1 damage on your Exarch weapon. 15 points to do that. I think it is overcosted, some of these. And this is throughout the codexes, not just here, but for other factions as well. Maybe you got the same view. Leave in the comment section, but I think often these are quite overcosted. Not too bad, not too bad. Some of these are very good value. So next we've got Striking Scorpions. You've got Crushing Blows for 15 points, Deadly Ambush for 20 points, and Scorpion Sting for 30 points. Okay. Each time this unit Striking Scorpion Exarch model makes a melee attack that targets a non-titanic unit, if a hit is scored, it's auto wounds. So yeah, auto wounds, it's okay, but it's 15 points on one model to get that. Yeah, I guess. Just having a little look. Extra attack. Deadly Ambush for 20 points. Whilst you've got an Exarch and wholly within area terrain, each time melee attack is made on a model in this unit, add 1 to the hit roll and improve the AP by 1 as well. So yes, right, but it's got to be that certain type of terrain. It's fluffy, but it's circumstantial. Scorpion Sting. Each time the bearer makes a melee attack that targets a non-vehicle unit, unmodified wound roll of 5+ inflicts a mortal wound. That's nuts. So 5s to wound on like 4 attacks. So 4 attacks, say 3 hit. Your chances of getting a 5+ is you get 1 of those on average. And it's going to cause a mortal wound. And it's going to cost you 30 points to do that. And it has to be against a non-vehicle unit. Total waste, I think, really. Yeah, no good. Way better going for some kind of... Can you put a relic, I think, on Exarchs? I believe so, from the stratagem section. Yeah, some of these are very overcosted and weak. So, not so sure. I would pick and choose carefully from here. You can end up spending out points. And at the end of the day, Howling Banshees, Striking Scorpions, Dire Avengers, they're not tough units. And so you've got to sort of think if it's worth investing too many points in them, because of the fact you'll see them one turn and they'll be gone the next. And so whether it's worth loading them up with loads of war gear and abilities, whether it's worth it, whether it's worth just taking the points cost of them and relying upon what you've purchased with that and expect that to do the damage. You know, give abilities where the whole unit gets bonuses, say through stratagems, instead of loading up just the Exarch and putting too much pressure on him to do something amazing, which is not going to do it here. Dark Reapers, 25 points for Bringer of Death, 15 points of Focused Fire, or 15 points for Reaper's Reach. So Bringer of Death, if the unit's Dark Reaper Exarch model is equipped with Reaper Launcher, it gets 1 extra shot. And it's 25 points to get that. If this unit's Dark Reaper Exarch model is equipped with an Eldari missile launcher or Tempest launcher, they don't get cover. I just don't think it's worth the 25 points to get that. Focus Fire, each time this unit's Dark Reaper Exarch model makes a ranged attack, add 1 to the attack's wound roll. That's 15 points for that. Or the Reaper's Reach. Whilst models across the whole unit don't suffer the penalty for hit rolls, moving and firing heavy weapons. That's 15 points. That might be the standard one to go for to help, because that 15 points, yes, but it's helping the entire unit. Next one, Fire Dragons. So you've got Blazing Fury, Burning Heat, or Dragon's Bite. So Blazing Fury, whilst this unit contains a Fire Dragon Exarch model, add 4 inches to the range characteristic of ranged weapons models in that unit are equipped with. That is excellent. Okay, so that is very, very useful. Plus 4 inches range. Burning Heat, whilst this model contains a Fire Dragon Exarch model, each time model in the unit makes a ranged attack that targets unit within 9. If a hit is scored, the attack auto wounds. Ah, this is more like it. That is very, very useful. Really, really good. And again, this is blessing all the models in the unit, which is way higher value. Dragon's Bite. Each time this unit's Fire Dragon's Exarch model makes a ranged attack that targets a vehicle monster that's within half range. If the attack is made with a Dragon Fusion Gun, add 2 to the damage characteristic of that attack. And if that attack is made with a Dragon's Breath Flamer, add 1 to the damage characteristic of that attack. And you can reroll the wound roll as well. Dragon's Bite, eh? Against vehicles. That's a killer. Utter killer against vehicles and monsters. Yeesh. And that's 15 points for that one. Oh, no, it's not across the board. Careful. That's just for the Exarch model. He's on +2 damage. But having said that, it's still not bad. Still not bad. And then we've got Swooping Hawks here. So you've got Rapid Redeployment for 20 points, Suppressing 5 for 15, and Winged Evasion for 15. So Rapid Redeployment, whilst this unit contains a Swooping Hawk Exarch model, the unit is eligible to shoot in the turn in which it fell back. Yeah, and then Suppressing Fire in your shooting phase after this unit is shot, you can select one enemy unit that was the target of a ranged attack made by this unit's Swooping Hawk Exarch model. This phase and roll 3d6. If the result is greater than that enemy unit's leadership characteristic until the start of the next shooting phase, that enemy unit cannot fire Overwatch, set to defend, or perform any actions. If that unit was performing an action, the action immediately finishes or fails. A Winged Evasion. Each time this unit is selected as a target of a ranged attack, if it contains the Exarch model, then the ranged attack is -1 to the hit roll, and that costs you 15 points for that. So a lot of these I probably wouldn't bother with, but there's a few in there, depending on what you want to do. Some of those are pretty good. Yeah, and really, you just have a little look. There's something else I want to have a little look at here. Yeah, so really what they've done is, yeah, I guess in the old book you used to get the Exarch, and I don't think you really paid for him in points. See, his profile and the upgraded version wasn't paid for, I don't think. I'm trying to remember now if you had to pay a flat rate for the Exarch, but now what they've done is it's a flat rate for these models. Then really you're paying for the, I guess what you, to be fair, you're getting the abilities here, but also you're paying to get your extra wound, extra attack, +1 ballistic skill, whatever as well. So that's part of that price, I think. Yeah. So I think you have to take. Yeah. I'm just wondering if you. Yeah, you have to. Yeah, I was wondering if you can upgrade to an X-Up without having to pay for any points. Just get that for free, but I don't think you can do that. So sometimes it may just be the case you pay one of the cheaper costs just to get the X-Arc model, because the X-Arc model is better, and then not worry too much about the ability. But so I guess it's not too bad because you're getting the increased profile in that price plus the ability, so it's not too bad. So Sweeping Hawk's done. So this is rules for Harlequins. We'll come to that for the Harlequins Codex review. Then we're on to chapter approved rules here for the Asuryani. There's Harlequins, so we'll come back to them. But there's options to choose from here. So what you have is your Grand Tournament book. You're picking 3 secondaries from here, and then you're also you then got the option to choose one from here that's specific to the Eldar or to the Harlequins. And then you've got to, as has been pointed out to me a few times, you've got to be careful that you don't choose 2 from the same group. So Shadow Operations, you can't take Raise the Banners and then take Scout the Enemy, for example, because they're both from Shadow Operations. You've got to make sure there's no crossover there as well. But we'll check this one as we go along, go through these and see what options are available. There's probably going to be one or 2 good ones in here that will be worth taking for the Eldar. So we'll do that next. So Warpcraft then, first of all. I don't usually use Warpcraft, so we'll just go straight to sort of Scry Futures. If you select this objective, then Asuryani psychic units from your army can attempt to perform the following psychic action as described in the 40K core book. So Scry Futures here, it's a warp charge value of 4. 1 psychic unit from your army can attempt to perform this action in your psychic phase. If it's within range of an objective marker that's not yet been scryed by your army. If the psychic action is successfully completed, select 1 unscried objective marker that psychic unit is within range of. That objective marker is said to have been scryed for your army, and the warp charge value of that psychic action is increased by 1 for your army for the remainder of the battle. So it makes it more difficult to do it. You score 3 points each time a unit from your army completes the Scry Futures psychic action. Well, I would say that's not bad. That's quite straightforward, and you can get some points coming in for that. Yeah, depending on how the objectives are set up on the board, but certainly an option with that one. Next one, No Mercy, No Respite. So with that one, you've got no prisoners, grind them down, so destroy more enemy units to the last, keep them 3 units alive, your most expensive ones. Path of, and then there's the ones that you can pick here for the Nakman book. Path of Destruction, Malefic Terror, The Long War and Synaptic Insight. So the Wrath of Cain, this one. Score 1 victory point at the end of the battle round if 1 or more enemy units are destroyed by a melee attack made by an aspect warrior unit from your army that battle round. Score 1 victory point at the end of the battle round if 1 or more enemy units were destroyed as a result of a ranged attack made by aspect warriors this battle round. And score 2 victory points at the end of the battle round if 1 or more enemy units were destroyed by a melee attack made by an aspect warrior unit from your army this battle round. And 1 or more enemy units were destroyed by a ranged attack made by... Oh, right, so it's 2. Okay, so it's 2 points per turn. That's a at some rate you've got to keep going with that one. I said it was quite tricky to score highly on that. Tricky indeed. And it's restricted to aspect warrior only. So yeah, not so good. And then shadow operations. So that's raised the banners, retrieve Nakman data, investigate signal, deploy, teleport homers. So some pretty good ones there. Scout the enemy. Units from your army can attempt to perform the following actions. Scout the enemy action. One unit from your army can start to perform this action at the end of movement phase if it's not within 6 inches of your deployment zone. If the unit performing this action is a ranger's unit, it's completed at the end of the turn, otherwise it's completed at the start of your next turn. Alright, so something for rangers to do. When this action is completed, score 2 victory points if the unit performing this action is not wholly within your opponent's deployment zone. Score 4 victory points if the unit performing this action is wholly within your opponent's deployment zone. How interesting. So, yeah, quite doable. Just quietly score points. You attract attention though. Enemy will try and sniff out any rangers in no man's land if they're harvesting points. But you could just sit there turn after turn and do that one. So yeah, pretty, not too bad. You can pick up points harvesting there. But as I said, you're going to attract attention as you do it. Tricky. And then the hidden path here for battlefield supremacy. So that's behind enemy lines, engage in all fronts and stranglehold and yield no ground for Imperial Knights. So this one, the hidden path. So if you select the secondary objective and your army contains a webway gate unit, that unit cannot be set up within 6 inches of your deployment zone. If your army does not contain a webway gate unit in your first command phase, select one objective marker that is not within 6 inches of your deployment zone at the end of each of your command phases. So if your army includes a webway gate unit, score a number of victory points equal to the current battle round number if a unit from your army excluding webway gate units is within 3 inches of the webway gate, and then no enemy models within 3 inches of that enemy webway gate unit. If your army does not contain a webway gate unit and you control your selected objective marker of an Asuryani unit from your army, score a number of victory points equal to the current battle round number. So it's take and hold an objective basically. So yeah, you could shift the whole army onto it and just rake in the points for it. So yeah, that would work alright. I think Scry Futures is pretty strong, and if you're really major on this one, you could pick up good points for the hidden path. Yeah, the army's fast enough and strike hard enough to clear an objective, hold it and sit on it. And it just required an Asuryani unit, could be any unit, which is good as well. So there's some pretty good ones in there. I would say happy enough with those. Definitely try 1 or 2 of those for sure. I think those are strong enough to use. So next we are on to relics here. Yeah, we'll take a look at these relics next. Alright, so relics then. If your army is led by Asuryani or Harlequin's warlord, so I'll tell you who can take them. So Kurnos' bow. Asuryani model with shuriken pistol. I love relics of warlord traits because you're not paying points for them, so I'm hunting around for some good ones here. The relic replaces a shuriken pistol, so for that you get range 18, pistol 3, strength 5, AP dash, damage dash. Shuriken ability, each time an attack is made with this weapon, if the attack successfully wounds the target, it inflicts 1 mortal wound on the target and the attack sequence ends. So it's a pistol that dishes out mortal wounds. Not too bad. The Phoenix Gem, Asuryani model only. The first time the bearer is destroyed, roll a d6 on a 2+, keep it to one side. At the end of the current phase, set the bearer back up again, as close as possible to its previous position, not within engagement range of any enemy models, with d3 wounds remaining. So that is excellent. Really good. It's a continuation of rollover really from the previous codex, but that's they've kept that and it's excellent. 2 up to get back up again. Fantastic. Really good. Shard of Anaris, Asuryani model equipped with a Banshee blade or Star Glaive only. It replaces that. You get +1 strength, made -3 and 1 damage. Each time the bearer fights, it makes d3 +3 additional attacks of this weapon. So between 4 and 6 extra attacks. Nice. Felucci's Wing. Infantry model, Asuryani infantry model only. The bearer has a move characteristic of 12 inches and fly keyword. At the end of your movement phase, select one enemy unit the bearer moved across during that phase, roll 1d6 on 2+, it's d3 mortal wounds. So, chance to inflict a bit of damage as well. And then Fire Saber. Asuryani model equipped with a Banshee Blade or Starglaive. Replaces that, it gives you +3 strength, AP -4 and 2 damage. Each time an attack is made with this weapon, a modified hit roll of 6 inflicts a mortal wound on the target in addition to any normal damage, so another excellent weapon. Sunstorm, Asuryani Biker model only. The bearer has a move characteristic of 20 inches and the bearer has objectives secured as well. Then Aegis of Eldanish. That's Autarch model only. You get a 2-up armor save, and each time an attack is allocated to the bearer, subtract 1 from the damage characteristic to a minimum of 1. So these are all strong, these are all really good. The Weeping Stones, Asuryani Psycho model only. Whilst the bearer is on the battlefield, each time you make a Strands of Fate roll, you can roll 1 additional d6. The Storage Stones is Harlequins, 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 Harlequins. So plenty of options, so there's 6 here for the Harlequins. And what's this? Yeah. They've given you some Exarch relics. Fascinating. So, and I like the idea of these because you're not paying points for them. The Avenging Blade. It's a Dire Avenger Exarch model with a Dire Sword. So you replace it, you get +2 strength, AP dash, damage dash. Each time attack is made by this weapon, if the attack successfully wounds the target, you inflicts a mortal wound and the attack sequence ends. We've got Dragon's Fury, which is a Fire Dragon Exarch model. Each time the bearer's unit is selected as the target of a charge, it's -2 from the charge roll. And you've got Shadow Sting, Striking Scorpion Exarch model with a Biting Blade. It replaces that and you get +3 strength, AP -2 and 2 damage. And you get 2 additional attacks to the weapon as well. So, nice enough. And then Crone's Scream, or Crone's Scream, or Crone's Cream. Howling Banshee Exarch model. Once per battle at the start of the fight phase, you can select one enemy unit within the engagement range of the bearer and roll 1d6 or 2+, it's D3 mortal wounds, and an additional 1 mortal wound for each charge move the bearer has made during the battle. Interesting. Next is the Phoenix Plume. This is for the Swooping Hawk Exarch. A 4+ invuln save, and each time model in the bearer's unit would lose a wound, a 5+ wound is not lost. So 5+ feel no pain across the board. God. Spider's Bite. This is the Warp Spider Exarch. Replaces the Power Blades. You get +2 strength, AP -4 and 2 damage. And each time an attack is made with this weapon, a modified wound roll of 6 has a damage characteristic of 3. Kane's Lance for the Shining Spear Exarch. Each time the bearer finishes a charge move, select one enemy unit within engagement range and roll a d6. On a 4+, the enemy unit suffers d3 mortal wounds, and that enemy unit is not eligible to fight this phase, so it shuts them down for close combat, makes them fight last. And you've got Shrine Scarf, the Death Reaper Exarch model with a Reaper launcher only. If an enemy unit has any models destroyed by an attack made by the bearer until the end of the turn, subtract 1 for combat attrition test. Yeah, okay, it's not... Ugh. Okay, so there's some pretty good ones in there. Yeah, they're okay. The Phoenix Plume, I think, is one of the better ones. 5+ feel no pain across the board. Yeah, and granting a 4+ invulnerable save as well. Yeah. Okay. We'll go on to Warlord traits next. This is the way you can build up your own type of characters, like Autarch on a buy, Autarch Skyrunner, for example, Autarch regular model. Just give them the loadouts, pay the points, and then start stacking on extra abilities through relics and Warlord traits. So there's a few for the Harlequins. We'll do the Asuryani ones here. So Ambush of Blades. I'll keep my eye on these. I think I might paint up that new Exarch model from the Eldritch Storm box, customise him and give him a good Warlord trait. So we're looking for a good one here. In your command phase, select one friendly Craftworld core or character unit within 9 inches of the Warlord. So take it you could do this to himself. To the start of your next command phase, each time model on that unit makes a melee attack, improve the AP characteristic of that attack by 1. So that's actually really, really good. Very, very helpful. Walker of Many Paths. Once per turn you can reroll 1 hit roll, 1 wound roll, 1 damage roll made for this Warlord. So yes, it's not bad. And then Falcon Swiftness, add 2 inches to the Warlord's move. The Warlord can ignore the effects of difficult ground terrain trait. And each time the Warlord makes a battle focused move, do not roll dice, it's a guaranteed 6 inches. Fate's Messenger, once per turn, when a saving throw is made for this Warlord When a saving throw for this warlord is failed, you can change the damage characteristics of that attack to 0. That's once per turn. Mark of the Incomparable Hunter. Each time this warlord makes a ranged attack, add 1 to the strength characteristic of that attack. And an unmodified wound roll of 6 inflicts a mortal wound. And then Seer of the Shifting Vector. Whilst the warlord is on the battlefield, each time you or your opponent spends any command points to use a stratagem, you can roll 1d6 for each command point spent. On a 6, you gain a command point. So yeah, helpful enough. Yeah, so you're going to get from CP back for that one. Okay. So we're on to psychic powers here. So for psychic powers, the Phantasmy Discipline, we'll check that out in the Harlequin's Codex review. So we'll go on to Runes of Battle. I'd imagine these are a shadow generally of previous powers here. So what you're getting is the one psychic power, but there's 2 options to go for. So like Protect or Jinx, you could affect the opponent's saving throw, or you could boost your own. You choose one or the other, even though it's still on the same power here. So number 1 is Conceal or Reveal. So Conceal is a blessing. Select one friendly craft world core unit within 18 inches of the cycle to the start of the next cycle phase. That unit receives the benefits of light covers plus 1 armor save. So alright. Reveal. Select one enemy unit within 18 of the cycle. They don't receive the benefits of cover. So you can strip cover or grant cover with that one. Embolden or Horrify is to help out with morale. So there's a warp charge value of 7 for that one, by the way. Warp charge value of 6 for Conceal Reveal. So select one friendly Asuryani core or character unit within 18 inches of the psyker. You get +2 to your leadership. And at the start of the fight phase, if this unit is engaged at range of enemy units, it can fight first. So it helps you to fight first. Nice. Really useful. And then Horrify. That's Malediction. Select one enemy unit within 18 of the psyker. It's -2 to their leadership, and it shuts them down for close combat. So that one's a pretty good option to go for. Embolden and Horrify. Very useful actually. Enhance and Drain. So you can use your psychics quite tactically. There's some key psychic powers that can really help you out, like in a situation where you've got your unit could dish out damage, but you're worried about your opponent interrupting play or whatever, or fighting first. Then you can use the psychic power to shut that down and really help out the unit. It can really make the difference in that melee. So this is good. Enhance or Drain. Select one craft world Asuryani core unit within 18 inches of the cycle and still the start of your next psychic phase. Each time model on that unit makes a melee attack, add 1 to the hit roll. And then Drain is -1 to the hit roll against an enemy unit. Protect and Jinx. So you get +1 to your save characteristic. So charge value of 7 for that one, charge value of 6 for Enhance and Drain. Or Jinx is that it's an enemy unit of 18, -1 to their armor save. So pretty much the same as before. Quicken and Restrain has a warp charge value of 6. As a blessing, select one friendly craft world core or character in 18. They can immediately make a normal move, advance or fall back as if it were the movement phase. If it does so, the unit is not eligible to shoot or declare a charge this turn, but it's a double move. Or you can restrain the enemy. So you halve their move and they can't perform any actions. Again, tactical use for that one. And then you've got Empower and Enervate, or Empower and then Enervate, or Innovate. Warp charge value of 7. For a blessing, it's a craft world core unit within 18 inches of the cycle to the start of the next psychic phase. Each time model that unit makes a melee attack, add 1 to the attack's wound roll. Nice. And then select one enemy unit within 18 inches of the cycle. This is for Innovate here. To start the next psychic phase, each time model on the unit makes a melee attack, subtract 1 from the attack's wound roll. So helpful psychic powers. So then, Runes of Fate. So you've got Guide, it's a warp charge value of 6. Core or character of an 18. Each time unit makes an attack. So it lasts until the start of the next psychic phase. So I think this is going to help you in close combat as well as shooting. You reroll the hit roll. If it's 10 or more, you can select one friendly craft world Asuryani core craft world character of the within 24 inches of the psyker instead of 18. But yeah, just your rerolls. Very useful indeed. Doom is a warp charge value of 7, and that grants your reroll wounds as before. Fortune, it's a warp charge value of 6, core or character, to gain your 5+ invulnerables, 5+ feel no pain. I've used plenty of time. I used to use it on the Wraith Knight. And then Executioner, warp charge value of 7. If manifested, select one enemy unit, excluding character units of wounds characteristic of 9 or less, within 18 inches of the psyker. That enemy unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. If any enemy models are destroyed as a result of these mortal wounds, that enemy unit suffers an additional D3 mortal wounds. If the result of the test was 10 or more, you can select one enemy unit within 24 instead of 18. You can't pick on characters with that of a wounds characteristic of 9 or less, so you can't snipe characters with it. Fair enough, so they put that in there. The Will of Asuryani, it's a blessing, warp charge value of 6. It's core or character within 18 inches of the psyker. Gain objective secured. It's auto pass on your own morale, and you can still perform actions without, whilst firing range weapons without the action failing. So useful enough, that one. And then finally, Mind War, warp charge value of 7, Witchfire. Enemy character model within 18 inches of the psyker. Roll 1d6 and add the psyker's leadership characteristic to the result of your roll. Your opponent then rolls 1d6 and adds the leadership characteristic of the enemy character model to the result of their roll. If your total is greater than the opponent's total result, the enemy character suffers a number of mortal wounds equal to the difference. If the result of the test was 10 or more, you roll 2d3 instead of d6 and add the result of the leadership characteristic of the psyker. Okay, so then you've got Runes of Fortune. It says Asuryani Core, so I think what you've got here is the Ynnari ones across here of Revenant Discipline. So we'll just do Runes of Fortune. Fateful Divergence, to warp charge value of 6. If manifested, you gain a command point. So quite a humble one, but useful enough for the game, for sure. You got Witch Strike, Blessing, value of 5. Manifested, select one model in the Psyker unit. If the Psyker unit is an Anthrite unit, you must select its Wayseeker model. To the start of the next psychic phase, each time the selected model makes a melee attack. If the attack successfully wounds the target, inflicts a mortal wound, and the attack sequence ends. Then Ghost Walk. So Blessing, Ghost Walk was warp charge value of 5. If manifested, select one friendly Asuryani core or character unit within 12 inches to the start of the next psychic phase. Add 2 to charge rolls made for that unit. Yeah, useful. I'd imagine that could help out for deep striking units, just to give them a boost, if you're allowed to do that. Crushing Orb, which Crushing Orb is a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select an enemy unit of an 18, invisible to the psyker, roll 3d6, adding 2 to the result. To each result, if the enemy unit is a vehicle or monster unit, or it contains 6 or more models. For each 4+, it's a mortal wound. Okay. Okay, and then Focus Will. Focus Will has a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select one friendly Craftworld Asuryani Psyker unit within 24 inches of the Psyker. To start the next psychic phase, add 2 to psychic tests and deny the witch tests. And then Impair Senses is a malediction, warp charge value of 6. Select a unit of an 18, invisible to the Psyker until the start of the next psychic phase. The enemy unit cannot be affected by aura abilities of units from your opponent's army. So these are pretty much intact from what they were before. Games Workshop haven't tampered with these too much. Then we're on to Crusade, which I won't cover. I'm sure it's, from what I've heard, it's good fun, but I'm not personally into it myself. James plays a fair bit of Crusade missions. A variety of missions we don't do too much on this channel here. So you can catch that out over on his channel. It's an example of a Crusade army. Beautiful. Very nice indeed. There's the Harlequins. Okay, so we're on to data sheets next. Okay, so there's a few bits to cover. There is Strands of Fate, which is this new thing, got to cover that. We'll check the rules of Battle Focus, which is key for the Eldar, and then there's this fascinating Favoured of Cain rules here, which I think is for Phoenix Lords. So it's just talking about you getting your craft world all matched up. Yep. So I'll go straight into Battle Focus here. So this unit is eligible to shoot in a turn in which it advanced. But if it does so, then until the end of the phase, models in this unit can only make attacks with assault or pistol weapons. So pistol, worth bearing that in mind, are weapons they're equipped with. And when resolving those attacks, this unit is treated as having remained stationary. So basically advancing, firing pistol or assault weapons with no minus to the hit roll, just as normal. Then in your shooting phase, after this unit has finished making its attacks, unless it fell back or advanced this turn, this unit can make a battle focus move. So you've got to get this right. You can't move, advance, shoot, and then make a battle focus move. It's just make a move, shoot, and then you'll be eligible to make a battle focus move. So I'm sort of thinking things like Dark Reapers. You could move out, a normal move, shoot, and then make a battle focus move to disappear. Has finished making its attacks. Unless it's fell back or advanced this turn, this unit can make a battle focus move. When it does so, roll 1d6. Each model in that unit can make a normal move of up to the distance rolled in each inches for the result, as if it were your movement phase. So you could roll a 1, so you've got to watch out for your ambushes that you don't roll badly. So that could catch you out if you're not careful. A unit that makes a battle focus move cannot embark within a transport, and until the end of each turn, such unit is not eligible to declare a charge. A unit cannot make a battle focus move if it arrived as reinforcements this turn, and right, you can't do that. And the unit cannot make more than one battle focus move per turn. So battle focus is okay. It's making an advance move at the end of the shooting phase instead of in the movement phase. So it's all right, but it's nothing too major on it. Favoured of Cain. So I'll give you an example of who would get that. So I was checking it out earlier on. It's things like Phoenix Lords. So here's Jane's art. She has Strands of Fate, Favoured of Cain, just here. So they fixed the lack of invuln saves. Anyone who has that Favoured of Cain gets a 4+ invulnerable save. That's really good, so it's going to add to the durability. And now something special. This one will only lose a maximum of 3 wounds in each phase. So, you know, no matter how powerful the unit is that plunges into in close combat, it's only going to strip away 3 wounds. She's got 6 wounds, so it's going to take 2 phases, whatever combination, to actually bring her down entirely. So that does add to the durability. It can create a situation where you can go a bit more kamikaze with these. You can throw her into some crazy combat, knowing that she's only going to take a maximum of 3 damage per phase. So that is excellent for the Phoenix Lords. And they're not too, we'll come to them a bit later on, but the pricing of them points wise isn't too bad actually. They can never have a relic or a wall or trait, which is fine because they're named characters. So then we're on to these rules here, Strands of Fate. So if every unit from your army has the Asuryani keyword and is drawn from the same craft world, exclude models with the Anthrat or underlined keywords, then at the start of each battle round, you can make a Strands of Fate roll. To do so, roll 66. You can then retain a number of these dice depending on the size of battle you're playing, as shown below. So whatever size game it is, it's 66. And then you look up the size of your battle. So we play Strike Force, usually, in which case I'll get 4 dice retained from that roll. Keep these retained dice to one side as a reminder of their results, or make a note of them. Each instance of a dice result allows you to manipulate a different type of roll once during this battle round, as shown below. Okay, keep it simple. So if you roll a 1, then it will affect an advanced roll. A 2 is for a charge roll, a 3 is for a psychic test, 4 is for a hit roll, 5 is for a wound roll, and 6 is for a save and throw. So before making a roll for any of the types above for a unit with the Strands of Fate ability, if any of your retained dice have a result corresponding with that type of roll, as shown above, and have not been used to manipulate a roll this battle round, you can manipulate that roll. If you do so, if that type of roll involves 1d6, e.g. a hit roll, do not roll a dice. The roll is treated as an unmodified roll of a 6. Yeah. Keep it simple. If that type of roll involves more than 1d6, such as a psychic test, treat one of those dice as an unmodified roll of a 6. Do not roll that dice. Then roll any other dice and add up the results as normal. Okay, So, we'll read through the example here. Wes is playing a strike force size battle. Okay, that's the size. So he will retain 4 of them, won't he? Yeah. So you roll 66, round to 0. So when do you do it? Start of each battle round. Okay. So roll your dice. So he rolls a 1, 2 2s, a 4 and a 5 5 because he's playing a strike force size battle. Wes then chooses 4 of those results to retain, deciding to keep 2 2 and 5 5. Because he selected 2 results of 2, on up to 2 occasions during that battle round before making a charge roll, Wes can choose for one of the dice to be treated as a 6. Because he also selected 2 results of 5, on up to 2 occasions during the battle before making a wound roll, Wes can choose for that wound roll to be treated as an unmodified roll of a 6. You're just turning dice into 6s, basically. And what results is determined by what you roll here on the dice. So it's okay, the mechanic works alright. I think people get their heads around it simply enough. So, but you know, it's alright. I mean, they could have just said you just get extra rerolls, but to keep it very simple, so you get 3 rerolls. But they've structured it this way. It's just this mechanic they've got going, but it's alright. It's not too bad. So you've got deployment abilities here, advanced positions. So you can set up every model with that ability anywhere on the battlefield as long as it's more than 9 inches away from enemy deployment zones and models. You've got sudden assault. During deployment, if every model in this unit has that ability, you can set this unit preparing a sudden assault instead of setting it up on the battlefield. If you do so, then the reinforcement step of your movement phases, you can set it up anywhere on the battlefield that's more than 9 inches away from enemy models. And then the rules for shuriken weapons here. So unmodified wound rolls of 6 improve the AP characteristic by 2. So that's about it for that. That's it. So Strands of Fate, this is alright, you get over that quite quickly, it's not a problem. So you got Harlequins talking about Sedefs just here, we'll come to that later on. And we'll go straight into the stat lines. So some stuff's changed a fair bit, some hasn't, so I'll kind of dwell on the newer type stuff and what's changed the most a bit more. I'm looking at these in the position where I've got most of these units, not all of them, I've got most of them. Just trying to make up my choices of what to try out for revamped 2000 points games. I do have my eye on the Avatar of Khaine. He's obviously taken a massive improvement. He is the scary model that he should always have been here. The rules are pretty good. So what we'll do is we'll give you a flavour of points as well, to give you an idea of what kind of points you'll be paying. I would like to run the Avatar of Khaine. It's 270 points, which I think for what you get, as you'll see, is pretty good. Movement 10. He's on damage bracket, but the movement only drops from 10 down to 9 down to 8, so he's not going to slow down by very much. Weapon skill 2+ remains the same. His ballistic skill drops from 2+ to 3+ to 4+. Strength 7. His toughness 8 now, so he's very tough indeed. He's got 14 wounds as well, which is excellent. 7 attacks base. He'll lose an attack for each bracket damage, but even if he had 1 wound left, he'd still be moving 8. He'd still be hitting on 2s in close combat. You still keep his strength, and you still get 5 attacks. It's got the 2-up armor save as well. I think he was a 3+ previously, so that's an improvement. And then you've got the Waning Doom. So for shooting, range 12, assault 1, strength 12, -4 and d6 +2 damage. And each time an attack is made with this weapon, if a hit is scored, draw a straight line between the closest point of the bearer's hull or base and that of the closest model in the enemy unit. Make 1 wound roll against that target unit, and each other unit this line passes over. So that's pretty good. Very good indeed. Then for melee, you've got a bit of diversity here now. You've got the piercing strike, so ×2 strength. So strength 14, -5 d6 +2 damage. It's excellent. It's a killer. Or sweeping blow. You get 2 hit rolls instead of 1, so you can go up to 14 attacks. That's strength 7, -2, 2 damage. This is truly an epic stat line for him. He's got battle focus. He's got Strands of Fate, so he can be affected by that, which is excellent. Avatar of the Bloody-Handed God. This model can never have a relic or a warlord trait. So if you're running Strands of Fate and you're turning your dice rolls into 6s, then you could be blocking damage coming through against him. But no raw trait for him. 4+ invulnerable save, which is excellent news. I think it used to be 5+. And it's half damage against him as well, rounding up. So damage 3 becomes damage 2. Damage 2 becomes damage 1. Excellent. He's excellent. Kane Awakened Aura. Asuryani core units within 12. Combat attrition test. Ignore any and all modifiers. Bloody Handy God. Core unit within 6 inches. Reroll charges made for that unit. And Burning Demise. If he does explode, it's D6 inches. Suffers D3 mortal wounds. There he is. Solid. Absolutely solid. And what a glorious model to have in the heart of the Eldar army. I don't want to spend too much time on the Skyrunner here. He's got 6 wounds now, 2 attacks based. Sorry, this is the Farseer of Skyrunner. 16-inch move. The Singing Spear is damage 3. Strength of the user, but unmodified wound roll of 2+ is always successful. No AP minus, but scary enough. The Witchblade's AP minus 1 and 2 damage, and unmodified wound rolls of 2+ is always successful. Yeah, look at that. Singing Spear, shooting, range 12, assault 1, strength 9, AP 0 and 3 damage. So, 4+ invulnerable save for rune armor, Ghost Helm ignores perils of the warp, guarantees 6 inches for advanced move. Runes of the Farseer. At the start of each battle round, after making a Strands of Fate roll before selecting which of those dice to retain, for each Farseer model in your army on the battlefield and not within engagement range, you can reroll one of those dice. Okay. You can manifest 2 and deny 2. Farseer Skyrunner. 120 points. Okay, not bad, it's always solid. Psyker. Then you've got Eldrad. So 145 for him. 6 wounds for him. He's got 3 attacks now. Weapon skill, ballistic skill 2+. The staff is +2 strength, -2 and 2 damage. Wounds on 2+ always. Armor of the Last Rune, so 4+ invulnerable save. And wound rolls of 1 to 3 always fail as well, so he's quite well protected. And each time a psychic test is taken, this model you can reroll the test result. Yep. Okay. Next you got, because I was running him previously, it looks solid enough. Yeah, you can manifest 3 and deny 2. This is brilliant, just kicking out psychic abilities. Okay. Then you got the Farseer, regular Farseer here. Just give you an idea on points values. Regular Farseer is 90 points. So you get 5 wounds with him. That's about it, we'll move on. Then you've got the customisable plastic Autarch that they produced. I love to customise mine. I've got an idea what kind of combination I'd go for. Starting cost is 80 points, not bad at all. Had stat line 5 wounds, 5 attacks, space, 3 up armor save, weapon skill and ballistic skill 2+. It's worth equipping him quite well. I'd probably run a dragon fusion gun on him. Yep. And then I'd probably run the Starglaive here. It's ×2 strength, -3 and 2 damage. You've got the abilities for Howling Banshee, Mask, Commander Blasters and Autarch Jump Generator. So we'll cover these now because we'll come to them in a moment for as the elite section, the Aspect Warriors. The Howling Banshee Mask, remember this is going on to the Howling Banshee unit, but you can take it for him. Each time you select an enemy unit as a target of a charge roll made by the bearer's unit, to the end of the phase, the enemy unit cannot fire Overwatch or set to defend. After the enemy unit is within engagement range of the bearer's unit made a charge move this turn, that enemy unit is not eligible to fight this phase until all other eligible units from your army have done so. So yeah, very useful. And then Mandy Blasters, 6 to wound is a mortal wound, excluding vehicles and monsters. And Swooping Hawk Wings gives the bearer move characteristic of 14, gains jump and fly keywords. And sudden assault. And then the Autarch Jump Generator, so it's movement of 12. Adds each time you make a move, normal move, battle focused move, advances, falls back, or makes a charge move until the move is finished. The bearer can move horizontally through models and terrain features that they cannot finish on top of another model or its base. When the bearer makes a battle focused move, you can roll 2d6 instead of 1d6 to determine the maximum distance the bearer can move. If you do so, you roll a double 1. The bearer suffers a mortal wound. Okay. So there's lots of options for him. You can give him the Starglaive, which are covered, the Scorpion Chainsword, Autarch Jump Generator, the Howling Banshee Mask, Shuriken Weapons, Banshee Blade, Mandiblaster, Swooping Hawk Wings. So you really can equip them quite well. Path of Command is an aura ability whilst a friendly craft world core unit is within 6 inches. Each time model unit makes an attack, your real hit rolls a 1. That's fine, just a similar ability to as he had before. As you've got 4+ invuln save with the Force Shield built in. And the Superlative Strategist, whilst any unit from your army with this ability is on the battlefield or embarked within a transport model that is on the battlefield, you use the command reroll stratagem twice during each phase instead of only once. Yeah, okay, so you've got more rerolls available each turn. That's the Autarch. So then we've got Prince Uriel. Movement 7, weapons accomplice, got 2+, got 6 wounds, 5 attacks, 3 up to save. So you get the Eye of Wrath, the Spirit of Twilight. I used to love running this model here and used to be able to mix the craft worlds up, but have struggled in recent times. So the Eye of Wrath, range 6, assault 1, assault 1, strength 6, -3 and 2 damage. The Spirit of Twilight is times 2 strength, -3 and 3 damage. Nice, very, very nice indeed. He's got a 4+ invuln save with a Force Shield. He's got Strands of Fate and Battle Focus. He's got Superlative Strategist, so that's your extra CP reroll per turn. You got Path of Command. So it's Iron Core or Anthraith Infantry. Then you got Prince of Corsairs. So before the battle, when placing units in strategic reserves, if your army contains this model, you can halve the power rating of Andan infantry units and Anthraith units for the purpose of determining the combined power rating of units placed into strategic reserves. So there's a bit of a bonus there. Autarchs, yeah, let's have a look at the points values. Just have a little look. So, where is he? Prince Uriel. There he is. He's 90 points. Bargain. Not too bad at all. Check the Autarch already. Next one's the Autarch Skyrunner. He's 100 points, and there's no further upgrades for him, so whatever he comes with. Right. Alright, okay. So, 16-inch move, 6 wounds, 5 attacks as base. I think it used to be 4, so it's a little bit better than what it was. The Laser Lance, we'll cover this now. So it's range 6, assault 1, strength 6, -4, 2 damage. I don't think that's really changed. The Shuriken Catapult is just 18 inches now for range instead of 12, I believe it used to be. And it's got a bit of extra AP minus on it, it's AP -1. The Laser Lance in close combat is +1 strength as standard, AP -4 and 2 damage. And then if you charge, it's a strength characteristic of +3. So that's changed, improved a little bit. I think you retain a standard +1 strength, which is useful. You can drop the lance. It used to be you could take the lance and then add something else, but you can swap the lance out for a fusion gun or a banshee blade. And it's a guaranteed 6-inch advance, and that's pretty much the same. It gets Path of Command, Superlative Strategist, and so on. It's really just looking to then start customizing him with relics and warlord traits and so on. Okay, then you Asuryani here, the Phoenix Lord. So their stat lines look similar. You're basically getting a 7-inch move, weapons skill ballistic got 2+, strength 4, toughness 4, 6 wounds, 6 attacks, leadership 9, and 2 up save. Then you've got he's favoured of Cain, so remember you're going to get things like going to do 3 wounds per phase against him, so 4+ invulnerable save on him as well. So he's got the Bloody Twins and the Sword of Assur. So Bloody Twins is a shooting weapon, strength Range 24, assault 6, strength 4, -2 damage, and shuriken. The sword of Asya is +2 strength, 8 -3 and 3 damage. Unmodified wound rolls of 6, inflicts D3 mortal wounds on the target in addition to any damage. Then he's got a 3+ invulnerable save. I thought they were getting rid of those. Wow. God. Solid. You can imagine the plastic resculpt of these. I mean, just wow, they'll be amazing. The hand of Asuryani Dire Avengers units within 6 inches add 2 to their leadership, and they get objectives secured. Battlehof next. So let's have a little look. I think they're quite sensibly priced. 150 points. I think it's quite sensible. I think they used to be near sort of 200. Battlehof is 140 points, even cheaper. Same stat line, except he moves 14. So he's got Fury of the Tempest and the Shining Blade. So the Fury of the Tempest is range 24, assault 4, strength 6, -2 and 2 damage. Unmodified hit rolls of 6, automatically within the target. And the Shining Blade is +1 strength, 8 -3 and 2 damage. And 6 is pop extra hits. Cry of the Wind, aura ability, Sweeping Hawks get +2 leadership and get objectives secured. They get Sudden Assault, Favoured of Cain, Strands of Fate and Battle Focus, and Cloud Strider. And when this model consolidates or makes a battle focus move, you can instead remove this model from the battlefield and set it up again anywhere on the battlefield more than 9 inches away from enemy models. And that can just keep going on. It's an interesting one for him. Yeah, and these are glorious, the new ones so far. So James Art, fantastic model, and then the new Morgan Ra, absolutely fantastic. Brilliant job Games Workshop are doing those. And it bodes well when they should, but when, who knows, be resculpted in the other Phoenix slots. Real celebration of the Eldar collection when Games Workshop make progress getting those done. Fuigan, the Burning Lance, I think he is called. Yeah, he's a bit tougher. So strength 5, toughness 5 for him. Okay. He's equipped with seasoning. Oh, Seer Song. Then Fire Axe is his close combat weapon. So the Seer Song, range 18 for Lance, assault 1, strength 10, -4, and D6 +4 damage. Fantastic. Or you can go Beam, which is range 12, assault 1, strength 6, -3 and 4 damage. Each time attack is made with this profile. If a hit is scored, draw a straight line between the closest points you're cutting across. Going to cause a hit against each. Then you've got the Fire Axe, strength for the user, which is strength 5, -4 and 3 damage. Usual bonuses, he's got Assured Destruction. Reroll wound rolls of 1 against vehicle monsters. The Burning Lance, whilst a friendly Fire Dragon is within 6 inches, add 2 to the leadership. Alright, so they get objectives secured. And Unquenchable Resolve. Whilst this model has lost any wounds, add 1 to its strength and attacks characteristic. So, not too bad at all. Good stat line for again. Let's have a little look. 160 points, but I think if they resculpt, you know, and if you're an avid Eldar collector, just wait for each one to come out as a treat almost. So, you know, get James R, paint her up, and then wait for any of these to be redone, and then pounce on them when Games Workshop release the resculpt. Because it is exciting to see those being redone after so many years. It's been so long. So James R, a bit quicker, moving 8 with her. The Silent Death is range 12, assault 6, strength 6, -3 and 1 damage. The Blade of Destruction, the main long blade that she has, is that Silent Death. I wish that was damage 2. Would make it scary, but it's only damage 1. So Blade of Destruction, so she can go for Piercing Strike, +2 strength, strength 6, -3 and 2 damage, which is similar to the blades that the Autarchs carry. And then Sweeping Blow, 2 hit rolls instead of 1, she'll get 12 attacks, strength of the user, -3 and 1 damage. Terror's Lament, each time you select an enemy unit as a target for charge, until the end of the phase, the enemy unit cannot fire Overwatch or set to defend. Whilst they engage at range, it's -1 to their attacks characteristic. And the enemy unit is not eligible to fight this phase, and it's shut down until all other eligible units have done so. Acrobatic, the model is eligible to declare a charge in which it advanced. Each time an attack is made against this model, subtract 1 from the hit roll, so it's just a bit harder to hit. And the Storm of Silence aura ability, whilst the friendly Howling Banshees units within 6 inches, they get +2 leadership and objective secured. So they're okay, the Phoenix Lords. I think they're helpful HQ choices. They're not game-winning, game-changing type units though. They're more supporting, because they kick out some damage, but they don't hit nowhere near as hard as the Avatar of Cain. He's a level up, basically paying extra 100 points, getting something really potent. But Jane'Zar is 140 points. For that kind of points cost, yeah, well away from 200 points. It's worth considering, I think. Karandras next. Karandras. Yeah. He is cheap compared to the others, 140. So stat line is pretty much the same. Factor movement 7. So he's equipped with Ara's Bane, the Ismathil, and the Scorpion's Bite. So Ara's Bane shooting is range 12, assault 2, strength 5, -1, 2 damage shuriken. Or Ara's Bane melee is ×2 strength, strength 8, -4, and 2 damage. And the Ismathil is +2 strength melee weapon, AP -2 and 1 damage. And you get 2 hit rolls instead of 1 with that one. That's the chainsword. So you get like 12 attacks with them. Scorpion's Bite. Each time the bearer makes a melee attack that targets a non-vehicle unit, a modified wound roll of 6 inflicts 2 mortal wounds on the target in addition to any normal damage. That's not capped, so you could get a scary result with that. Yeah, whoa. Yeah, just this is, hang on a second. So, for example, non-vehicle, yeah. So, for example, right, he finds himself in close combat. He goes for the 2 hit rolls instead of 1. So he's got 12 attacks. And against non-vehicle, you're popping any 6s to wound, and you're kicking out an extra 2 mortal wounds for each one that comes through. Really good. So that is, he's dangerous. He is pretty dangerous actually. He gets advanced positions, so you can sort of sneak in. Sustained assault. Each time a melee attack is made by this model, unmodified 6s pop an additional hit. But these additional ones can't benefit from the Scorpion's Bite ability, but you do get the extra attacks coming through. So you're going to pop a few extra hits as well, so sort of looking at kind of maybe sort of 14 hits coming through with him. And then you get plus striking Scorpions, +2 leadership, and objectives secured. So you got Morgan Ra just here. He is 150 points for him. Nothing different really. The same kind of stat line. For shooting, it's range 36, assault 6, strength 7, -2 and 2 damage. It's a real sort of Primaris sniper. Each time an attack is made with this weapon, unmodified wound roll of 6 inflicts a mortal wound on the target in addition to any normal damage. And the Morgatar melee weapon is +2 strength, AP -2, 2 damage. So he's not bad in close combat. And then inescapable accuracy. Each time this model makes a ranged attack, the target doesn't receive the benefits of dense cover. Doom Incarnate. Each time a model is destroyed, it counts as 2 in the morale phase. And the Harvester of Souls, +2 leadership and objective secured. Then we're on to Illic Knight Spear. 90 points, yeah, it's usually one of the cheaper options to go for. So Illic's on, she's on 5 wounds, 5 attacks, 4 up save, weapon skill, ballistic skill 2+, movement 7. It's equipped with Shuriken Pistol, the Voidbringer, the Eldari Power Sword. The Power Sword's going to have a +1 strength, AP -3 and 1 damage. And the Voidbringer's range 48, heavy 1, strength 6, -3 and 3 damage. Each time you select a target for this weapon, you can ignore Lookout Sir rule. Each time an attack is made with this weapon, unmodified wound roll of 4+ inflicts D3 mortal wounds. In addition, so you've got that 3 damage coming through and a possible 3 more damage coming through with the mortal wounds. But, no, I was going to say, but you have to get the 6, you don't. It's 4+, it's just half a chance. That's really good. very good sniper. Hunter Unseen. Whilst this model is receiving the benefits of cover, it cannot be selected as a target of a ranged attack unless the attacking model is within 12. So great for just sitting there at the back, range 48 with the Voidbringer. Bringer of the True Death. Each time this model makes an attack against a Necron's unit, have 1 to attack's wound roll and hit roll. And Danger Cloak. Each time a ranged attack is allocated to this model, add additional 1 to saving throws made for the attack for benefits of cover. And it's on 4+, it'll bump Illic Knight Spear up to 82+. So for the sake of time, I don't dwell too long on all of these. You've got the Spirit Seer here. He's got 4+7 months over rune armor. He's got Spirit Mark. Spirit Host, core unit within 6 inches. Each time model that unit makes an attack, reroll wind rolls of 1. That's the Spirit Seer. I'm not dwelling on him too much. The Witch Staff is strength of use, open -1 d3 damage. Wind rolls of 2+ is always successful. You've got Guardian Defenders. Don't want to hang around looking at these too long either. They are 4 up armor save now though. Oh, it's a bit heavier going. Weapon skill 3+, ballistic skill 3+ as standard. That's all good news for them. So they're probably a bit more expensive than what they were. They're actually 9 points each now. Whilst you're in range, defenders. Whilst you're in range, an objective marker with ranged weapons, it's real hit rolls of 1. That's it. Rangers. These have improved. They're about as soft as they ever were. You get an extra +1 for armor saves made against the attack for cover, so you can put them into ruins, and they bring on a 3-up save including cover. The range of long rifle is not much better. It's just an extra AP -1, then it's -1 instead of 0. Ignoring Lookout Sir, 6 to wound is a mortal wound. I don't think that's changed. And the other thing to mention is they have bumped them up to ballistic skill 2+, which makes sense, and it makes them very reliable with their shooting. There's a couple of little bits that have sculpted onto the new models. So you've got Gloomfield. Rangers are 13 points each. Gloomfield is 5. The Wire Weave Net is 5. So the Gloomfield, each time a ranged attack is allocated to the bearer's unit, if that attacking model is more than 18 inches away, then the bearer's unit is treated as having the benefits of dense cover, so -1 to hit rolls. Yep. And then the Wire Weave Net. Once per battle, when the bearer's unit is selected as the target of a charge, you can select with the bearer to activate the Wire Weave Net. If you do so, roll 1d6 on 2+, the charging unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. Until the end of the phase, subtract 2 from charge rolls. So yeah, those upgrades are not bad. Little things to help protect the ranger units. And you can have between 5 and 10 of them. And they are core. Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Then you've got Storm Guardians. They still get 1 attack base, but they can take the Shuriken Pistol and then the Eldari Power Sword, which... Oh. Shuriken Pistol and Shuriken, a Guardian combat weapon. There you go. There it is. But it's actually AP -1 on it, and you get an extra attack. Yeah. So, Serpent's Scale platform is equipped with a Serpent Shield. 1s and 2s always fail to wound against them for that little bit of protection. You got your loadouts, equipped for the gun platform and so on. You got Corsair Void Reavers. I just briefly mention these. They're 10 points a time, 4 up save, 2 attacks as base for those. Equipped with Drakari weapons, blasters, shredders, Neuro Disruptors, that's from the Harlequins, Shuriken Cannon, Shuriken Pistol, Wraith Cannons, Eldari Power Swords. Yeah, you got the Corsair Void Scarred there. I'm not a press, I'm going to stick to Eldar here for this review. Warlocks, nice new models though, great news, exciting stuff for Corsairs, collectors, to actually have plastic models in there. A very nice looking set of miniatures. So then we've got Warlocks, they're 2 wounds each now. I think they were that before. 2 attacks base with those. 4 up invulnerable save for rune armor. So yeah, let's take a manifest one, deny one. Warlock Skyrunners. So I won't dwell on those too much either. Just give you a little points idea on those. On to elites with these. They've new sculpt Warlock models as well, which is cool. The Skyrunners are 35 points each. The Singing Spear is 5 points. If this unit contains one model, it costs 60 points instead. Yeah, dear me. God. The unit size is 1 to 3. Warlocks is 1 to 6 models. If it contains one model, it costs you 40. So the incentive is to get more models. They're 20 points each, 5 points the Singing Spear. Pretty cheap, really cheap enough in points. So, Dire Avengers. So 12 points each. Unit of 10, 120 points. Nice and cheap. You're not paying for any other upgrades apart from taking a Shimmer Shield, which will cost you 5 points. So what you're getting really for these is the Avenger Shuriken Catapult, which is range 18 now, Assault 3, Strength 4, -2 as standard, damage 1, and Shuriken. So it's a decent weapon. I think it's really good. You start combining it with other stuff, shoot twice, relics, wall traits, and so on. You know, popping auto hits, extra minus, and so on. Then you can let loose a brilliant volley from these. You start using psychic powers on the Gaia Doom. You can actually shred stuff to pieces with these. Now, there's one thing they brought in for Aspect Warriors is 5+ invulnerable save across the board, which is excellent. Then they come with defense tactics. So, unit contains a Dire Avenger X-Arc model. If this unit is performing an action, you can still make attacks with ranged weapons without that action failing. That's actually very, very useful indeed. That throws open options for what secondaries you're going to go for. So that's good. The bear has a 4+ invulnerable save if the Shimmer Shield is taken. That's about it. The Dire Sword is +1 strength, AP 0 and damage. Sorry, AP dash, damage dash. Any wound rolls is a mortal wound and the attack sequence ends. Always been a massive fan of Dire Avengers. Beautiful sculpt. Probably no need for Games Workshop to resculpt them, I would imagine. Fire Dragons. 4 up armor save for them, by the way. Fire Dragons 3+ armor save. Fire Dragons are 23 points each. That's including the fusion gun. I think that's a very good points value, indeed. Wow. And the Fire Pike, if you take it, it's 10 points. So the Dragon fusion gun is fantastic. I mean, it's range 12. But it's Assault 1, Strength 9, -4, D6 +2 damage as standard. You don't have to get within half range, so it is an excellent weapon. The Dragon's Breath Flamer is Assault D6, Strength 6, -1 damage, and auto hits on the target. And the Fire Pike, range 18, Assault 1, Strength 9, -4, and D6 +4 damage. That's an excellent weapon as well. I would definitely take that in the squad. 5+ invulnerable save. And Assured Destruction. Each time model in this unit makes a ranged attack that targets a vehicle or monster, reroll your wound rolls of 1, which would be helpful enough. So Fire Dragons would rate them. Yes, they certainly are. Deadly against vehicles. Howling Banshees. I'm really rating the Aspect Warriors. I'd love to do a celebration army of the different Aspect Warrior types. There's only so many I can squeeze in to any list though. But Howling Banshees, they're 18 points each. Yeesh. Okay. The Executioner's +5. 18 points a time. So movement 8. The Triskel, if you take that, is Assault 3, Strength 5, -3 and 1 damage. The Banshee Blade is +1 Strength, AP -4 and 1 damage. The Executioner is +2 Strength, AP -3 and 2 damage. The Mirror Swords is +3 Strength, -3 and 1 damage. And you get 2 hit rolls instead of 1. That's a lot of attacks. And the Triskel melee is +1 Strength, AP -3 and 1 damage. So the Howling Banshee marks, this is the abilities here are pretty good. To the end of the phase, that enemy unit cannot fire Overwatch or set to defend, whilst the enemy units have engaged at range of the bearer. The bearer's unit made a charge move this turn. Then that enemy unit is not eligible to fight this phase until all other eligible units are done so. So you're just shutting the enemy down. So then we've called out the different options for the Exarch equipment. 5+ invuln save. You've got Whirling Death. Each time model this unit makes a melee attack, if that model's unit made a charge move this turn, add 1 to the attack's wound roll. +1 on the wound roll. Yeah, whoa. Huge, massive. Yes, huge. They are scary. For example, you know, anything toughness 3, you're in 2s to wound. Oh, excellent. Very, very, very good. A base of 3 attacks for these now as well, which is excellent. And then you've got acrobatics. It's -1 to the attack's hit roll against them. The unit is eligible to declare a charge in which it advances. You've got that as well. Remember that strategy that gives you the guaranteed 6-inch move, so you can technically go 14 inches and still charge. If you're getting outside of a transport vehicle, you can add another 3 to that. So you've got a 17-inch move there. And if you're starting to use your Strands of Fate dice, I'm guessing you can expect a good distance on the charge as well. And each time an attack is made against this unit, it's -1 to hit roll as well. And that's an attack, so I take it that's shooting and close combat. So Banshees are brilliant. Love to run 10 of them in a Wave Serpent and go and hunt stuff down and put Jane's Eye with them as well. Very good. Excellent. Next, Striking Scorpions, and I think these are equally as good. So they are got a bit of bite now, the Aspect Warriors, which is a lot more scary than what they were. 17 points each for Striking Scorpions. The Biting Blade's 5, the Scorpion's Claw is 10. So again, base of 3 attacks for these, 3 up armor save for the heavier aspect armor. So the Scorpion's Claw for the Exarch is Assault 2, Strength 4, -1, 1 damage, and Shuriken, range 12. The Biting Blade is +2 Strength, -2 damage, +2 Strength, -2 AP, and 2 damage. And you get 2 additional attacks to that weapon as well. And then the Chainsword is +2 Strength, so fighting at Strength 5. AP -1, 1 damage. You get an extra attack as well, so 4 attacks base. You're looking at like 40 attacks, with a few more for the Exarch for Scorpions charging in. You've got Sustained Assault. So 6 is popping extra hits. Excellent. So you're going to get some, bound to get a good few. And then the Scorpion's Claw in melee is -2 strength, -3 and 2 damage, no minus to hit rolls. And then this is the killer, Manly Blasters, are so good. Each time the bearer makes a melee attack that targets a unit, excluding the vehicle or monster units, some modified wound roll of 6 inflicts a mortal wound. And it's so scary because there's no cap on it, and you've got tons of attacks coming through, and so you're gonna get those 6s. They're gonna shred stuff. You know, you can send out a unit Striking Scorpions to hunt down a lone character, and whatever it is, they'll bring him down, potentially. Full squad of 10, terrifying. It's excellent. We've got advanced positions as well, real ambush unit. But Striking Scorpions, another dangerous aspect warrior unit here for the Eldar. I think Eldar players must be happy with this. This is all looking healthy enough. Not utterly ridiculous, but they are a lot better here. Now maybe, I'm just thinking, you know, Tau have got, is it 1 or 2 things where they can shut down invuln saves, right? As you'll see, Eldar can do that too, with your linked fire from your fire prism. Is that going to be a continuous theme for future codexes? So is there going to be a combo in every codex from now on that kills off the invuln save? That may well be what happens. Wraith Blades, toughness 6, 3 wounds each, 3 attacks, and so on. And Wraith Blades will cost 40 points each. If you take the Ghost Axe and Force Field, it is an extra 5 points per model. The Force Shield gives them the 4+ invuln save. The Ghost Axe, there's no minus to hit rolls this one, I think it used to be. +2 strength, so fighting at strength 7, -3, 2 damage. Ghost Swords is +1 strength, so strength 6, -3 and 1 damage. You get additional 2 attacks as well, so 5 attacks in total. The Wraithbone form, I think this rule is quite good. It's a very strong rule and fluffy. Is -1 damage characteristic of attacks that come through against them. Make them nice and tough. Same with the Wraith Guard. The Wraith Guard are 40 points each. The D side is an extra 5. Your standard Wraith Cannon, range 18, assault 1, strength 4, 4 and D3+3 damage. Any unmodified wound rolls of a 6 inflict a mortal wound as well. And the D5 is Assault D6, is a blast weapon, its strength 10 minus 4 and 1 damage. And unmodified wound rolls of 6 inflict a mortal wound, in addition to normal damage. And War Construct. Models in this unit can make attacks with ranged weapons even whilst the unit is within engagement range of enemy units, but each model can only make such attacks against enemy units that they are within engagement range of. Okay. In such circumstances, models in this unit can target an enemy unit even if other friendly units are within engagement range of the same enemy unit. Next is the Wraith Lord. They've worked on him a little bit as well. So there's no damage profile now. This is 9 wounds. So you could have 1 wound left and still get the full profile, which is a brilliant strength for the Wraith Lord. I'm seriously considering just trying these out. I don't think they're the game-changing unit, but I think they'd be tough enough. It's 100 points, basic. The Aeldari Flame is 5 points, the Missile Launcher is 15, the Bright Lance 20, the Ghost Glaive is 15, Scatter Laser 5, Shuriken Cannon 10, Star Cannon 15. Be getting base of 4 attacks, toughness 8 still on these, -1 to damage against them as well. The movement 8, and again no damage profile, so you're just going to keep getting that movement 8, which is very helpful. And the Ghost Glaive is +2 strength, so strength 9, -4, D3+3 damage. So that's scary enough. You can potentially hack a vehicle to pieces in 1 round of combat. Or you've got the option to have a sweeping blow. So strength for the user, which is strength 7, -2 and 2 damage, and you get 2 hit rolls instead of 1. So all of a sudden you can get 8 attacks, to like hacking down Primaris Marines, for example. And then if he's not equipped with the blade, you can still fight with his fists, which is strength for the user, strength 7, 8, -3 and 3 damage, no -2 hit rolls to hit with that. And he's got the Wraithbone form, so has -1 to damage characteristics against him as well. So I wouldn't rely on him too much, but it's improved for sure. Then you've got Wind Riders on their 2 wounds and a 3-up save for these. I think they dropped them to 4. They brought them back to 3. Wind Riders. They're 20 points each. Scatter Laser is an extra 5. Shuriken Cannon is an extra 10. So really, your Scatter Lasers now is heavy 6. I don't think there's any -2 hit rolls because it's a biker. Strength 6, no AP- on these though sadly, but and damage 1. The Shuriken Cannon's changed, now it's range 24, heavy 3. Strength 6, -1 and a standard of 2 damage plus the Shuriken roll. And that's it really. You've got Swift Demise. Each time model in this unit makes an attack with a twin Shuriken Catapult against an enemy unit within range of any objective markers, reroll hit rolls of 1. A rule that's easily forgotten. And Vipers. So he's got Ride the Wind, a lot of these, which is your guaranteed 6-inch advance, which is fantastic. Vipers now, I don't think anything's really changed. There's 6 wounds each, 3-up save. That's all the weapons you can give them. Swooping Hawks next. 4-up armor save on these. Let's have a look at Vipers just to see what kind of starting cost. 40 points plus your weapons. A Missile Launcher is 10, Bright Lance 15, Shuriken Cannon 5, Star Cannon 10. So Vipers are cheap. Vipers are quite cheap actually. I always wanted to run a large unit of those, but I think they're actually cheap. Yeah. It's like a land speed is pushing on with 80, 90 points fully equipped, but these 50 points will give you, 50, 60 points will equip one well. Wind Riders, they're 20 points each, I've covered that already. Swooping Hawks, they're 18 points each. The Aeldari Power Swords 5 points, and Hawks Talons 10. So, movement 14, and the Las Blast then, range 24, assault 4, strength 4, -0, 1 damage. 6 is to hit, it's auto wound on the target, interesting. You got the Hawk's Talon option, assault 4, range 24, strength 5, -1, 1 damage. And again, unmodified hit rolls of 6, auto wound the target. And the Eldari Power Sword, we know about that one already. So the ability for these is Sky Leap. In your shooting phase, instead of making a battle focused move, so you've shot already, And then instead of making your battle focus move, you can remove this unit from the battlefield and set it up again here on the battlefield that's more than 9 inches away from enemy models. So it's an immediate removal and then deep strike back in, which is excellent, excellent. Really is good. Wow. Yeah, I think Swooping Hawks, very agile and diverse. These excellent unit. Just need that vital resculpt. I think they're a very useful unit to have. You got Warp Spiders. 20 points each, and 10 points if you take the Power Blades. Usually I usually take like a unit of 5, so it's a 100 point unit. They're 3-up save with these. Movement 12 as standard. You can go up to squads of 10. And the Death Spinner, range 12, assault D6, strength 6, -2, 1 damage and blast. It's an excellent weapon. A small squad of these take on a horde unit quite comfortably and cause them a lot of trouble actually. So Necron Warriors, for example, blob of 20. Squad of 5 of these. So you can take an extra Death Spinner. So you would get 36 shots out of that 5-man squad. And then once you hit those Necron Warriors, you're looking at strength 6, so 3s to wound. And AP -2 is going to seriously knock their armor save right down as well. Yep, scary. Really good. And you could even have like 2 squads of 5 working in tandem. One lands, blasts the squad right down. The next one just rolls like 6d6 to try and sweep it away. 2 squads of those working together would blow away an Necron Warrior squad. It's just to try and get that. Yeah, with reanimation, yeah, because anticipating those kind of things, but I think they would still do very well. Then you got Flicker Jump. The first time in each phase, this unit is selected as the target of a charge. If this unit is not within engagement range of any enemy units, it can make a normal move up to 6 inches until the end of that phase. This unit cannot fire Overwatch or set to defend. So you can dodge stuff as well. And it does not one use only. Wow. Yep. Start combining that with battle focus and so on. Excellent. Warp Spiders, wow. And again, waiting for the resculpt. Can you imagine the sculpt that could be done with those? They'd look incredible, utterly incredible if Games Workshop resculpt them. The potential for some really fancy sculpting work on those and the paint job and so on. People go mad. So I can just imagine the Exarch model just being fantastic sculpt. Shining Spears, brilliant job on the resculpt here from Games Workshop. Absolutely superb looking models here. Just love the layout of the new bikes. Just like the extra fins coming out on, like down here, just very, very cool. So Shining Spears then, I ran these a lot in previous lists. They're 35 points each, so yep. 5 points to the Shimmer Shield, 10 points to the Star Lance. Base of 3 attacks for these now, 3-up save they've kept, 16-inch move. We've seen the Laser Lance already in melee with the Autarch. The Star Lance, the Exarch is +1 strength, -4, 2 damage. But when you charge, it's +5 strength. There's a Paragon Sabre is an option, +1 strength, -4, 1 damage. Each time the bearer fights, makes an additional attack with this weapon. Each time an attack is made with this weapon, you cannot reroll that attack's hit roll and wind roll. 4+ invulnerable save for these. Oh, that's just on the bearer. But they do get the 5+ invulnerable save. They do get Aerobatic Grace, so -1 to hit them. And a guaranteed 6-inch move. The Shining Spears, they're okay. They're not bad. There's not much going on with these, but the other units such as Warp Spiders, Swooping Hawks, Striker Scorpions, Howling Banshees, see much bigger improvements. Then we've got the Shroud Runners. This is the new units here, which I'm actually painting up at the moment. Beautiful models. Love the concept of these. I think they're excellent. The sculpt's fantastic. The concept behind them is brilliant. Brilliant job from Games Workshop. Excellent to introduce this new unit. Totally fits in with what the Eldar have already. So quite sensible really. Just 2-man sniper bikes. Well imagine the Eldar doing this. So an excellent concept from Games Workshop. Shroud Runners then. They're 35 points each, roughly 100 points for a 3-man squad. But they're bikers with 3 wounds, which is excellent. They're ballistic skill 2+. Because they're bikers, I think there's no minus to hit rolls when they move and shoot. They're able to relocate very, very quickly. with 16-inch moves. So that's all excellent. The range of long rifles okay, and then I probably wouldn't have bothered with them, save for the fact that because they're on the bikes, you can then take the underslung weapon as well. So not only can they kick out their sniper shots, but also the main weapons such as the scatter laser. Well, it's fixed. You can't take shuriken catapult or cannons. It is scatter laser, so unit 3 is going to kick out 18 shots as well with the scatter lasers. The guaranteed 6-inch of move, and then the Shroud Runner Cloak. Models in this unit are eligible to receive the benefits of light cover as if they were infantry models. So each time a ranged attack is allocated to a model in this unit whilst it's receiving the benefits of cover, add an additional 1 to the saving throw. So I'm imagining parking them inside a ruin. They get cover like infantry, so they bump up to a 3-up save, and they get the bonus, so they bump up to a 2-up save. Excellent. Their core. Got target acquisition at the start of your shooting phase. Select one enemy unit within 12 inches of the unit until the end of the phase. Each time an outcast unit from your army makes an attack against that enemy unit with a ranger, long rifle or void bringer, that enemy unit does not receive the benefits of cover against that attack. And you've got swift scouts. At the start of the first battle round, models in this unit can make an all move. They cannot end their move within 9 inches of enemy models, so a bit of a scout move available to them. Also, War Walkers, not too much to say really with these. Let's have a little look at the price of them. This is heavy support. 55 points plus your weaponry. We do have a 5-up invuln save, they've kept that for the power field. They do get advanced positions. That's it, the movement 10, so quite nice and quick. Then you've got Dark Reapers. So this is another one where they haven't really gone too scary with these. The Reaper Launcher, for example, is Star Shot option, range 48, heavy 1, strength 8, -2, 3 damage. So I think that's pretty much stayed as it was. And then Star Swarm, heavy 2, strength 5, -2 and 2 damage. And what they get here is inescapable accuracy. Well, the Tempest Launcher, by the way, is a blast weapon, heavy 2d6, strength 4, -2, 1 damage. And you can shoot at stuff that's not visible. And inescapable accuracy. Each time a model in this unit makes a ranged attack, the target does not receive the benefits of dense cover. Then you got support weapons. Just have a little look at Dark Reapers here. They're 100. So just 150 points. You don't get a choice on the size. It's just a fixed unit of 5. More, you can't take more or less. Okay, so they are. Well, it makes them 30 points each. Yeah. And then support weapons. Here, 5 wounds for these, toughness 5. The D cannon's range 24, heavy D3, strength 12, -4, D6 +2 damage. Nice. God. The weapon can target units that are not eligible to the bearer. Wow. Each time an attack is made with this weapon, unmodified wound roll of 6 inflicts a mortal wound. You've got the Shadow Weaver option, range 48, heavy D6, strength 6, -2, 1 damage, blast weapon, and like artillery, you can target stuff you can't see. Or you've got the Vibro Cannon, range 48, heavy D6, strength 7, -1 and 2 damage. Nothing else on there. You've got some extra rules there as well. Artillery and crew, and so on. Okay, then onto the vehicles. I'm going to try and round this off here because this review's brutal, but it's a big, it's a big book here. Falcon. There's nothing ready to report on this one. The firepower's been upgunned. So the Bright Lance, for example, is D3 +3 damage, which is excellent. The Pulse Laser is heavy 2, strength 9 now, -3 and D3 +3 damage. So in combination, Bright Lance and Laser, excellent. I'll cover these little abilities here. So Crystal Targeting Matrix. Now each time this model makes a ranged attack, you can ignore any roll modifiers to the hit roll. Or Spirit Stones, you double your number of wounds counting for your statistics, characteristics. So if you're on 4 wounds left, you actually count as having 8 for the damage bracket stuff. Star Engines gives you a +3 inch move. And Vectored Engines, once per battle in your command phase, you can activate this model's Vectored Engines. If you do so, to the end of the turn, you gain battle focus. Which is actually quite powerful because you could tuck out just an inch, like from the edge of a building. So you can just about see an enemy target, shoot, and then zip behind however many inches you roll with battle focus. I believe you could do that. Eldar Trickery. at its worst. That would drive people nuts. Then you just got something really to report on that one. Carries 6 models as per usual. Then you got the Knight Spinner. The Doomweaver's range 48, heavy 2d6, strength 7, -2 and 2 damage. It's a blast weapon, and it's artillery. You can fire at stuff you can't see. That's about it with the Knight Spinner. 140 points, plus your upgrades. The Fire Prism, which I don't have any yet, unbelievably, but because I love the sculpt and the turret configuration is fantastic. So Prism Cannon Focus Lance is range 60, heavy 2, strength 14, -5, 3d3 damage. Very cool. And then the Dispersed Pulse, same range, heavy 3d3, strength 6, -2 and 2 damage. It's a blast weapon as well. So nice and versatile. You can go for the anti-tank, anti-infantry, effectively, both. That's about it. Fire Prism is 160 points plus upgrades. Next is the Wave Serpent. So that's 13 wounds on that one. Transport capacity of 12 as per usual. And then the Wave Serpent Shield. So whilst the model is equipped with Wave Serpent Shield, you get a 5+ invulnerable save against ranged attacks. Each time a ranged attack is made against the model, unmodified wound rolls of 1 to 3 always fail. So, bit of some levels of protection. Okay. And that's about it with him. And how much for a standard Wave Serpent? Plus your weapons on top, twin shuriken catapults, or shuriken cannons and so on. But we are looking at 140 plus upgrades. So that's that. Crimson Hunter. Really need to say very much here. Sky Hunter, each time this model makes a ranged attack against a target that can fly, have 1 to attack's hit roll. And you can reroll that attack's wound roll as well. Fantastic. That's about it really. Bright Lances we've covered, Pulse Lasers we've covered, Star Cannons we've covered. Well, Star Cannon I don't think we have, but it's heavy 2, strength 7, -3 and 1 or 2 damage. So that's the Crimson Hunter, which will cost 170 points. The Hemlock Wraith Fighter, nice variation. For that one, heavy D5 is heavy D6, range 18, strength 12, -4, 2 damage, and it's a blast weapon. And 6 to wound is a mortal wound in addition. And it's got a Mind Shock pod aura. Whilst an enemy unit is within 12 inches of any models equipped with a Mind Shock pod, subtract 2 from their leadership. And that's about it. Oh, look at that. It's Wraithbone form, -1 damage against it. Excellent. So, finishing up here, I think the Wraith Knight, lastly. Yeah, because I'm not covered the rules to the Webway Gate. Yeah. So it's just you bringing units in from reserve using the Webway Gate to do it. So the Wraith Knight. Now, I think he's overcost. He's 400 points to start off with. Heavy Wraith Cannons, for example, you need 2 of them. So that's going to add an extra 60 points on top of that. So you're pushing on towards 500 points for this model. So I think I'll try him out, but wherever he'll be in the list, you could pay literally half the points cost and get an Avatar of Cain. Okay, so his movement 12. He does degenerate down to 10 inches and 8 inches, but still stays quick enough. Weapon skill 3+4+5+. Ballistic skill 3+4+5+. Strength 8, toughness 8, 22 wounds, 5 attacks as base, 3 up save. So the firepower is scary enough though. The Heavy Wraith Cannon, range 36, heavy D3, so you get 2 of them, 2 D3 shots, so between 2 and 6 shots. You need help hitting though, so something like Guide. Strength 16, -4, D6 +6 damage, so he's a tank killer. Unmodified wound rolls of 6, inflict D3 mortal wounds in addition. That's not capped, so you could roll a couple of 6s to win, and it's going to cause trouble with mortal wounds. And then the Sun Cannon, if you go for that option, range 48, heavy 2d6, it's a blast weapon, strength 8, -3 and 3 damage. And the Titanic Ghost Glaive is +6 strength, so strength 14, -4 and 6 damage, or sweep. 3 hit rolls instead of 1, so it's going to give you 15 attacks. Strength User, which is strength 8, -3 and 2 damage. He has a scatter shield of a 4+ invulnerable save. If you don't take that, he does have agile construction, so built in 5+ invulnerable save. Excellent. It's also got the Wraithbone form, continuing on the theme, so -1 to damage coming through against him as well. He's unstoppable revenant, so he can move across stuff, charge across models and so on, unless it's a vehicle monster. So Wraith Knight is, he's still going to be bullet magnet. I'm just wondering, just the points cost. Imagine down the line he'll take a points reduction, I would imagine. Okay, and then you're on to Harlequin's units, which we'll cover in the next review. There's all those across there. And then I think this is it. We've got last of the units, weapon profiles, points values, and that is it. So that's the review for the Aeldari Codex. Thanks to Games Workshop for sending me a copy through. Check out Goblin Gaming. Perhaps after watching this you're ready to start expanding your collection, then make your order on Goblin Gaming and you can get 40k at a discounted rate, around about 20% usually, sometimes more, for the discount that they do, and a whole lot of other gaming accessories, gaming systems, terrain, paints and so on, all available from them. Just use the link below, it does help out the channel in a small way. So the plan is to do the Harlequin's Codex as a separate video, so just to separate things off, to make things nice and straightforward for people. But this review here, the Eldar Codex looks solid enough. There is a depth to it here, even though I've gone sort of through everything. There is a depth of discovery as far as different combinations is concerned. There's all sorts of different combinations for sure. I'm liking the look of the Aspect Warriors, each in different style. Some are looking particularly strong. Give them a designated task, go and hunt a character, go and cut down heavy infantry, go and destroy a vehicle. Aspect Warriors will do it, and they'll do it with style. Other supporting units look fine. Phoenix Lords look cheap enough and they're massively improved, so I think this is all good news for the Eldar, and all the weaponry seems to have just taken out, become more deadly. So Eldar looking healthy enough. Nothing, I look at this book, there's nothing crazy silly going on. Some scary stuff, some great combinations, but nothing that's utterly ridiculous. I think the railgun holds the #1 spot. But then again, Eldar have got their own minus ignoring invulnerable save option. So maybe we'll see that spread across the new codexes for each of the factions in the future. We shall have to see. But that's Codex Aeldari. If you haven't seen it already, check out the Harlequins review and keep a lookout for more reviews and other content on the channel. Thanks for watching and tune in next time.